What's up, everyone, and welcome to the Celestial Cup Split 2, Week 3. I'm your host, Spider Tip, joined alongside Tessa. Tessa, how are you feeling? I'm so grateful to finally get to work alongside you.
I know we've been trying to do something together for a long time, and finally we are together here. And I am excited because there are a lot of incredible teams here today, and I just want to see the same level of banger games that we have had in the previous weeks.
Yeah, I love that you brought up the previous weeks because this has been going on for some time. We had split one, they had the finals, so many levels of talent, and it's really fun. So I just want to give a little shout out. If you guys are ever looking to join up or maybe get some more information, I'm sure there's some commands in chat, do exclamation point Discord. Definitely find out the information because they are always looking for more talent to join up. But today we will be featuring 20 teams with got six different games, right? We're going to start off on
Mhm.
World's Edge, then moving on over to Storm Point. And you had mentioned some teams that you might have had your eye on, and I know we were kind of scrolling through them in the pregame just there. Tell me about more in particular. Any really sparkling?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, Flower Power did great last week. Just completely dominated, and Dopey specifically having just an amazing uh day of I cannot remember the specific. I think it was 25 kills. Like
Yes.
it's ridiculous. And then obviously JSA and EOS are the two other teams that have been winning. So these are definitely the teams that you want to keep your eyes on. They are the teams that have been winning and the teams we would expect to keep winning. But teams like UTFT, LNW, they are not far off from that and they can play spoiler going in.
Hey, and I'm all about spoilers. I'm all for the underdog. I'm all about someone maybe that hasn't had a chance to shine to really show up and show out during our six maps tonight. And what better way than kind of returning to are like kind of, World's Edge has been in the competitive realm for quite some time now. And I feel like it's just one of those things where it's like the comfort, right? It's like you know exactly what you're going to play on World's Edge. You know which legends you feel comfortable playing. But there have been a lot of changes in the meta, whether you're looking at EMEA. Some EMEA teams are breaking out Rampart. And I find that kind of chaotic and a little bit lovingly. So now in pubs, anytime I drop in, I'm getting Sheila to death. And I'm not a fan of it. Let me just tell you that much.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen even in just like ALGS quals and NA, we've seen some Vantage being played. So there's all kinds of different things are open wide. People have
Mhm.
realized that Gibby is not a requirement. And because of that, we now have compositions that are not the same for every team. And that makes
Right.
things a lot interesting. You can lean into your play style. World's Edge as a map, I like to call it the map that is solved. We have played on it so much that we know the ins and outs of it. So then you get things that, maybe now with the new metas, you can try and do some different things. You can figure out some unique things that haven't been played on World's Edge and really try and mix things up and make things hard to predict.
Yeah, and I really like that. I mean, the Storm Point is very much kind of a large map. The
Mhm.
rotations are really heavy. And it was interesting because I saw this weekend where some teams were electing to not utilize a Valk, which I was like, hey, most teams at one point, I think she had like a 99.7% pick rate
Mhm.
into ALGS. And I was like, most people are not going to forgive that. And so I thought it was really interesting because I saw a team had elected to choose two scan characters. How do you feel about that? Running a Bloodhound Seer, and I believe it was a Horizon for mobility.
I mean, there's different ways to play it. You could just be aggressive with it, right?
Mhm.
Like if you're scanning, you're seeing people. Seer has a general idea of where they are. You bloodhound scan in that direction, and boom, now you just can go all in. Use the horizon ult. Like it has a purpose. One of my favorite compositions that I've seen that has been Valkless has been like a good while back. It was the Ash Fuse, and I
Hmm.
forget who the other one was. A blood. Oh, it was a Bloodhound. So it's Ash
Mhm.
Fuse Bloodhound, and it was just aggressive. Like you see somebody with the Bloodhound scan, you just Ash ult and then use Fuse to just constantly barrage them in their buildings and just chase them down. So it's if you want to play that way, you can run without a Valk. You're not looking, you're going to be playing on edge of zone anyway. You're looking to get to that zone. So you're not going to be hanging out on the like very far late rotation zone where you need that Valk.
I like that too. And you bring up the knuckle clusters just inundating you
Mhm.
inside the buildings. And I'm just having a little bit of trauma from every time that that happens to me. Then you have the mortar, the ultimate coming in, and you're just like, please, mom, you want to call your mom? Mom, come get me. I'm scared. Like, that's exactly what I think of when I hear that Fuse ultimate come my way. And then, you saw some people couple that with the Horizon, the black hole ultimate. Then you've got a Valk in that composition. And then you see the one that we've typically been seeing the most in particular is going to be that Valk. It's
Yep.
going to be the Horizon and it's going to be the Seer. That is probably the most prominent trio that I have seen thus far. However, I have seen some talented ladies hop on Caustic and play Caustic on both World's Edge and Stormpoint. And that I think is something to be said of because that character is really challenging for me to play. And I believe it was Giggle Autumn who just absolutely throws down on Caustic. And it is just something to behold.
Absolutely. I mean, Caustic has always been really good in World's Edge specifically because you're running, into a lot of buildings, a lot of just sitting in that zone there and waiting for people to come in. And if you're just really good at Caustic and you play that style already, it's just good. He was never not good. It was just there were a lot of other characters people were picking up and playing. And I like that we are seeing people kind of stick with what they know they are good at and what works with their play style instead of just like picking up what is currently the new hotness.
Yeah, and I think if you just stick to what you know and what you're comfortable with and you're happy playing that, you will find success here. Because some people also forget, like, guys, competing, you should have a fun time, right? If you're having
Mhm.
fun, that's the first half of the battle. Winning's just that added bonus. Winning is that moment that just makes you feel really good. And tonight, just a quick reminder, we are going to be running that ALGS point style format. You will get 12 points for first place. Each elimination is going to be 1 point as well. And I love that you brought up last week that Flower Power was our winning team. They had 89 points, and you were correct, Miss Dopey, 25 eliminations. So then you had JSA and Veneer kind of
Mhm.
hot on their tails as well as EOS. So we've got a lot of really talented teams here. I'm excited to see kind of who's going to take off and maybe start strong. It all comes down to map number one, right? And a lot of these ladies have been facing up against each other for the past couple weeks. So they're starting to learn kind of the ins and outs of how people play. And you're kind of like, starting to get comfortable with who you know on rotation. Like if you land
Mhm.
here typically and you rotate, chances are you're going to fight some of the same teams every week and you're going to know, hey, this is their team composition. This is how they play. We know how to combat this.
Exactly. That familiarity starts becoming a skill in which to check in and of itself, right? Because you're no longer just like, guess we got to prepare for anything. You know what you're looking at, and you can just kind of like prepare for that. And certain teams are going to prepare better than others, and we might see some teams start to climb up in ranks because they are getting that preparation in.
Hey, and that's what it all matters. If you are getting that preparation in week after week coming into the Celestial Cup Soul League Split 2, we are in week 3, baby, and it is going to get absolutely wild. I'm excited. I'm ready. I'm just ready to see what's going to happen and where the teams are dropping. You get a beautiful look. Look at this. Game 1 World's Edge, this beautiful graphic that production has provided us. Top tier, guys. Top
Mwah.
tier.
Beautiful. Just the sweeping shots of the lava that hopefully not many people have gotten a close look at. It's just gonna be going all throughout, and I'm actually curious because you and I have not been able to cast this yet. I don't know the drop spots entirely for these teams yet, so I'm curious where people are landing, how contested Fragment and other similarly big areas are going to be kind of put up against each other teams. And places like Countdown, you already have teams fighting right out the gate, whereas like Lava City really only has one team. You're gonna have a team with Big Mod and Lava City pretty much all to themselves right now.
Oh, yeah, and look at that beautiful map overview. But coming on board with Team Veneer to kick it off, we've got our beautiful Yusaki on there as well. But VSK already finding some issues here with Valve last alive and damage coming in quick. Now let's see what you can do. Eva 8 in hand, not able to get it going. That's going to be a full elimination. We just started. We've already got a new kill leader, and this is going to be spicy light years on your screen. Gonna try and heal back up. Tessa, this is the action that we wanted, and it's already here.
Yeah, and it's also we have a fuse. I talked about it a little bit. I wasn't expecting to see it actually, but we do have like that aggression that we wanted to see, and that's something Fuse is really good at. Hot drops, Fuse likes, because even if he doesn't get a gun, he does have that tactical to do damage, and that's something a lot of other legends just cannot compete with to the same level. So Team Nothing coming out ahead on that early fight, and now going forward, we'll see how they want to play this out.
I mean, you're starting off incredibly strong. You know, you've got all blue shields. You've got weapons that you feel comfortable with. I know we were chatting a little bit earlier on like kind of the things that are inside the crafter. You've got the bruiser. That optic is my favorite. So the fact is I can just go immediately and craft that. The heavy mag that is in there as well. And hey, a nice little gold shield to add to a touch as well. But that's the kind of things that you look at. It's like, what weapons are you going to be running? And KBM, we're jumping on board with them. Mighty Macaroni on your screen, longbow in hand, thinks they have someone in the back of Geyser, so just kind of trying to keep a good eye out. With Cash being the only one with the purple shield, kind of uncomfy. You can see right there on that picture-in-picture on your screen, that upper left, there is a team that is kind of coming out of that vault area, and I feel like KBM now just kind of needs to group up together and make sure that, you know, they just keep all their eyes out.
Yeah, they're trying to make it out into this open area a little bit safely, and this is hopefully just going to be a little bit of hanging out here as the round will be closing in. Geyser is in that area, and they are going to start poking out just a little bit. Like you said, Shield's not exactly in the greatest spot, so I think they'd like to get into at least a little bit of poking so that they can get those blue shields at the very least.
Yeah, poke or not, maybe they're fighting over the crafter in the center of Geyser, because that's what you got to think of, right? It's like all you have to do is get those crafting materials. You could leave here with blue shields, but I don't think they're looking for blue shields at this point. I think they're looking for some eliminations, but they're playing it very safely, and I respect that, right? Because you don't know what you're running up against. Like, sure, we knew from that map looking where that team is going to have been, but you have to proceed very precariously. And look at that. That team says, hey, we're just going to hit the Geyser in the middle and just get out of dodge.
Yep, they're just going to take some pot shots. I think neither team was really looking to get too deep into it as of right now. And yeah, just going to back away as we see Veneer already just hold up nicely here. Gold and purple shields out the gate, and they're looking to push in on this.
Oh, black hole going out. Misaki, wingman in hand, and I just feel like once these shots start connecting, I'm just going to be like chef's kiss. There's nothing better than some solid wingman headshots, and it's going to be absolutely beautiful. Looks like Insta is going to get completely cracked, but Yusaki is absolutely insane with the wingman following it up with a flatline. Go ahead and get that finisher. You deserve it.
Yeah, just 2 kills right out the gate there. Yusaki doing a great job on that one, and they've just got 1 more to kill.
The repositioning using that grab lift is going to be absolutely beautiful. Going in on the zip line, feeling really aggressive. I respect it. At this point, you're just looking to put the finishing touches onto this team wipe. Going to go ahead and go in with the pinch, try to surround them, and just like that, WKL was eliminated.
Very aggressive. Lust also into a fight. We see already Scarlet going down, Renee and Beef just kind of hoping to look and maybe just hide out for now, because they do not want to continue fighting, although Valk's still in the middle of that.
Oh, yeah, this really split them up, unfortunately. It's like when you play Wraith, right? You just have the ability to pop your Q and just go into the void and just dip out. 90% of the time, it's on the opposite direction of that other teammate that's still up. But we're on board with comms. This is probably the team that was causing the demise of Team Lust. And Wonder Nikki, Roses, and Kayla are perfectly set up right now. Their shields look great. They have weapons that they're comfortable with. And lately, given everything that's been changing, I would like to inform you guys it is no longer Apex Legends. It is definitely Scout Legends at this point in time, because everyone is putting that G7 Scout to work, and Wonder Nikki just utilizing it to try and find out where that team kind of scattered to. And they were looking to get the banner back up and go for a nice reset. I've had the ability to actually commentate over these ladies in some of the Benefit Cosmetics tournaments, and they have always performed so aggressively well, Tessa. We're gonna have to keep our eyes on them.
Absolutely, and you can already see too, they're just set up very nicely, and like you said, with that Scout, you could just peek out and do a lot of damage. Right now, they're just kind of holding out. I think they don't want to be the ones pulling the trigger here. Everybody's looking at the couple of 2-person squads here. They don't want to be the ones pulling that trigger, because you can end up just getting third-partied.
Yeah, this is actually going to be spicy. There is another team in the area. Control Freaks Winx is actually going to put the nail in the coffin for P from Luff. So that's going to be Lust. That's going to be really dicey. So you know they are nearby and close and looking to feast. That just means there's one player remaining from Team Lust going to have to pull up a full reset. But Veneer on your screen has a team kind of inside. There's a Watson that they have to approach. And sometimes when you have to go through all the fences on the inside of a building, it's a little bit spicy, but we're going to get a circle that's pulling all the way up to Fragment East.
Yeah, we're seeing the nades go out. Yusaki just gonna try and break out those fences so they can do something. Remember though, they do have to take care of this relatively quickly. They are far from the next ring, and there are not a lot of easy avenues into the next area, and they don't have that valve.
Oh, I love that you pointed that out. It's like at one point, do you just say, hey, maybe these eliminations and these kill points are not actually worth it, and we should just kind of go on the aggressive towards that next zone and play maybe the gatekeeping style for them? Because this team's going to have to leave as well, whether they Valk ult or not. At this point, just cut it. But Comms doing the
They're
same
not the
thing.
only ones, yeah.
Yeah, there's two teams here waiting to see if they can get some action here.
Yeah, everybody's just trying to see what they can do, but Comms, I think, also making a call here to try and back away. Veneer are going to take some top ground here and see what they can get in terms of damage.
Oh gosh, this is just going to be one of those really interesting rotations because they're going to have to make their way through several different chokeholds, and I'm not even sure if it's worth it, but Yusaki going in, putting down some damage, connecting. Black hole going out, but they're still not able to get a good line of sight on the fences to break, but all the damage going out from Shiro, that Volt is absolutely frying. Yeah, they're getting some action, but I'm curious, will Comms come back in this?
I don't think so. I think they were looking at trying Valk ult away, so I don't think they wanted to continue on that. So they are going to get the kills. They have not Valk ulted. It seems like Comms are still nearby, actually. Okay.
Interesting. I mean, they didn't take a lot of damage. The reset was coming in, so they were able to get their shields back up and ready should Comms start to push. It was almost like a little too delayed. Had they started pushing in when the down started coming through, maybe that would have been a more profitable time for them, but this is not it, and the damage going out from Roses is going to break Horizon. That's going to be sucky. This is not what you want.
Yeah, now it looks like Comms are just stuck in the building themselves, and Ring is closing in 15, so this is going to get very spicy for both of these teams. As long as Comms can get outside, they can Valk ult away if they want to. They don't seem like they're feeling comfortable enough to do so.
It's true. They're blinded by the aggressiveness. They want the eliminations. Kayla, 3 syringes. You don't know how many med kits, but looks like they may take to the roof. A little bit of a grabby lift gone wrong, but it's okay. Valk's got the little jetpack to recreate those things, and a 30-30 in hand. I think that Veneer is just going to get out of dodge, and here comes the Valk ult from Comms, and they're just like, you know what, let's begin our rotation. But they're all going to run into the same chokeholds depending on which side they go. Is it the Harvester? Is it the Geyser side? Is it going to be the one just north of Lava Siphon of Veneer choosing to go up towards Harvester?
Yeah, Veneer shouldn't run into anybody else. Oh, no, they're just going to run right into somebody else's. EOS in a fight now themselves. This is deep into Fragment. And now Odd just completely shredding people here and pushing forward into that Caustic. That is Flower Power down, actually. That is our winners from last week, going down pretty early in game 1.
Yeah, it's really interesting. As soon as I saw that full down on Mizdopia, I was like, well, hey, this is the team that you were looking at. EOS was able to get the reset going. There's some teams in the nearby vicinity. Thank God for the Bloodhound scan on Odd right there. And you can just see the player lurking just through the window. What a hello. We just got to clean the little Valk off our window. No big deal. But Mizdopia taking a lot of damage. I feel like they need to kind of group up together, maybe come up with a plan. The issue with the Bloodhound Valk Horizon combo is you really don't have the ability to lock down a building defensively. You don't have Watson fences, you don't have the Rampart walls, you can't use a Newcastle ultimate to really shield this, so it's not sustainable, and there's too many openings here.
Yeah, but this is where they want to be, right? They're already deep into these rings. You can see just next ring and the ring after still going to be in here, so they don't want to leave. I think the biggest thing is you're hoping you can get that Horizon up, the Horizon ult rather, up frequently enough that you can keep people away. JSA, in the meantime here, Janie trying to run, it seems like, from another team.
Yeah, JSA just put the finishing nails in the coffin for Nice Girls, and it looks like they weren't able to get a reset, and there's a team kind of bullying them from the high ground, so they're going to be relegated to moving. And it's always good to see kind of just how this team is going to perform. We have a lot of ladies throughout these tournaments that are competing within ALGS or going through some of those qualifiers to try and make Pro League. And Sabs is one of those teams. She's on Phoenix Legacy, so you'll see her in the upcoming ALGS Split 1. But Janie able to grab Ava Lee's banner, and that's going to be beautiful because you got to cut your losses at this point. There's only a few more respawn beacons, but you can craft a mobile inside the crafting areas, but there's only one nearby. So they're just trying.
It is not
to
in the
stay
safe
healthy.
spot either. There is another scan coming. They might be just done.
Okay, while she's getting peppered, trying to live and re-shield up, I love that you mentioned that everything moved, because that is true. Respawn did move all of the crafting machines. All of the mobile respawn beacons are kind of tweaked a little bit, and that makes it spicy, but Sabs just cannot get away from the poke shots right now, and now a Bloodhound scan coming in. This is just one of those things where it's your worst nightmare. Frag is such a hard area to hold and thrive in, and none of these players have that team composition where it's like they can fortify a building right now.
Well, yeah, and any of these extra teams that come in that have that Bloodhound are going to know. Veneer now is just in trouble. Yuzaki going down, and now they lose their Seer as well. This is not looking good.
Oh no, bro.
I don't think there's time. I don't think there's time.
I don't think so either. That is so unfortunate. Veneer going to go down. Well fought, but now KBM, the one gatekeeping them, is also trying to get a full reset. But the back in the ring, you got to make something happen. Yeah, a lot of damage coming in. You always have to make sure that you are well kitted out, but they are being gate kept, and they're going to fall. That's going to be Renee with the down on to Cash, and all they wrote for KBM. Congrats to Renee for getting those eliminations in. Very, very spicy. The last we saw of Lust, it was Renee, that Wraith, last standing, was able to get Scarlet's banner, and that's who's kind of just griefing the teams inside the ring, now making their rotation into the zone and just trying to check, hey, is there anyone else coming over from Harvester? Because we're just trying to vibe here.
I mean, that's great, though, for them. They recognize, like, hey, okay, we can't really win full 3v3 fights. Why don't we just hold ring and gatekeep these teams that are down here, right? They knew teams were coming from there. They were one of those teams down in that lava siphon area. They just needed to take that time, hold the edges, and capitalize on them coming in unhealthy to utilize that to make up for their lack of a third person.
Oh, wow. And JSA going for the reset out in the open on Ava. This is nice, but they're getting completely pestered by a charge rifle. Charlie and Janie's going to go down. This is not what you need. It's Piku with the charge rifle. We were talking about this earlier, Tessa, and you were kind of like, I really can't stand charge rifle users. And I took that, you know, personally, because I am a charge rifle user. It's totally fine. But Ava coming back in as a crypto, not anything to have, no weapons, nothing in sight. This is just not what you want. Just running, using the 5Ds of dodgeball for dear life and utilizing the only 2 shield cells they have. Hopefully there's something left standing in here. And a Hemlock, you know what? That's fine.
I like it. I like it better than fists.
You know what?
I can confirm.
Me too.
You know, I've definitively done better with a Hemlock than I ever have using my fists. So it will at least get some kind of control here, and we're just gonna use that crypto to get a little bit of knowledge on what's going on. You can pick up the banner too, so as long as they could get it over there, and I think you should be able to pretty easily. No one's gonna be trying to stop you. The problem is you don't really have a great way to respawn. Even if you do get over to that respawn beacon, you're just still going to be losing Janie immediately. You need to get a mobile, I think, if you want to make it work.
Oh no, they're going.
They're going. Okay.
They're going via flight mode. They're just gonna send it.
There's a squad up there, I think.
It doesn't. You know what? Maybe they were scouting it out. I don't think so, but you do need a mobile. You might have the ability to find it, but Ava gonna put down a lot of damage on the players, taking that grab lift nearby. You can see there's a caustic over in that area. Could be Giggle Autumn if that team is still... Okay. No, Flower Power was eliminated earlier, so no caustic from Giggle Autumn at this point. I like it. They were able to get Janie back in the fray of things, and Team Nothing also going to be eliminated meanwhile.
You have to give a lot of credit to JSA for being able to just stay in this and continually get their players back up here. They've been just holding on for dear life, playing basically by the seat of their pants. Hopefully they can find Janie a gun here. Maybe just have Crypto drop one of those guns. Currently, Mommy's just hanging on in that middle area here, and this is a good spot for them to hold. Currently very kitted up, and with 8 squads left, this is going to be a very, very hot spot for them to hold.
If you can hold it. Market is so incredibly challenging to hold because it is so open. If you were having a Watson in your team composition, you could throw some fences out throughout the middle and just really leave. But I mean, Mimi, the mommy from Mommy, is just throwing down with the Iron Sight Wingman as something just quite a spectacle. Do have the Skull Piercer available to them. But I mean, look, Lust, unfortunately, as much as they did with the gatekeeping and picking up eliminations while maintaining that 2-man formation, unfortunately are going to fall. 7 squads remaining, and honestly, Mommies at this point, they have all 3 up and alive, all fully kitted out with weapons and heals. They seem to have the best positioning right now, should they be able to make sure that their backs are clear and no one is going to come immediately for them, because there are 7 squads still remaining. We did get kind of a look at where some people had went. We know JSA is in the vicinity. The question is, when everyone comes to rotate, no, look at that.
Everybody has a building. Yeah.
Yep.
The question just becomes like, what can they do, right? Because it's just there are going to be a lot of people moving out of those buildings over on that western side, rather, into that eastern side. So there's going to be like 4 squads that we are losing. Control Freaks already down here as Mommies do pick that one up.
Just checking out. Control Freaks fully eliminated. 6 squads remaining. We're just waiting for this round 5 ring to continue closing, and it's going to force everyone to collapse upon each other. Throwing out the Seer Q to find some information, and you can see that player is absolutely incredibly low, only has a shield just basically from that fight that withstood. Now they're going to be forced out into the open in the hands of Mommies, and I'm just ready for them to attack.
Yeah, it is more of a question of who is going to get these kills, I feel like, more than anything. And now they are just going to get sent on by the horizon. It is Janie down. Let's see who else is going down next.
Love the repositioning. They're working incredibly well as a team together. It's really really respectable that they've lasted as long as they did. Unfortunately, when you're trying to regain and constantly res your teammates, you don't really have the full power to go on the aggression and pick up as many eliminations as JSA might have liked, but still a very strong first game here for them. And Sabs in the kill feed going off as well with the Mastiff. So there's a lot of action, and Mommies are just perfectly poised to take this for the long game.
Absolutely, yeah. They do know that the ring is going to be pulling 2 in front of them, but they don't have to leave that building for a while. I think anybody that is in these buildings outside of that very far west northern building is capable of just holding on and waiting, right? They don't need to push out of that building here, but you can see UTFT just really hiding onto that little area they have, and they only have 2 people. I feel like this is just a 2-squad game. The question being, who's going to pull the trigger first? UTFT already lose 1 here going down, and I feel like they're just going to try and poke this one out.
Yeah, just a lot of poke fighting. It's all going to be just everyone shoved out into the open at the very last minute. But UTFT, I love that Julie's just kind of nestling over there. I'm not sure.
Nope,
oh, that's all they wrote for them. I was like, I'm not sure if she's just like running out of heals or if she's just trying to last as long as humanly possible. But now we are down to the last 2 squads here in game number 1. We got the Mommies on your right and Scarlet and Co on the left. Now it's just a matter of kind of someone's looking for that first down, right? That's going to force them out. You see the Qs going out there looking for information, but it's a lot of hurry up and wait at this moment.
Yeah, Sierra Ult's going to go down in a really nice spot here. There is no way they can push and take that out. And now Bangalore ult or Gibby ult rather called as well. That's going to push them back a little bit. Maybe give them the opportunity to move up.
Not a lot of damage going the way onto Mommies as much as they would have liked, but hey, something is going. Angel's gonna be stunned a little bit. The Gibby bubble is out, now forcing everyone to make some things happen, and Mommies are going to be able to take game number 1. They were 13th last week, but they are first in your map number 1 here on Split 2, week 3. What a beautiful, well-played game.
Yeah, and it was a really good fight there. I liked the idea of using that Bangalore ult to give space, use the Horizon Q to try and hop up on top and see what they could do with that. The damage just didn't land. And once they came back down, they took some ring damage on the way down. They took a lot of bullets on the way down. And that just made it really easy for Mommies to clean up. And they are going to take that game one. A lot of points going their way. 22 right out the gate. Obviously, one game can completely turn on its head in game two, but that's a very good start you have to be happy with.
I mean, anytime you're very well into the 20s, you are so happy because that
Mhm.
will last you at least another game. Should you have a game where you go out maybe below 15th place, you're like, that's okay. I already started off incredibly strong. I just have to bring it back. It's just a war of consistency here. And that is such a strong start. Shout out to Guess Who with the 16 points, UTFT for making it into that third place and taking 10 points. Absolutely beautiful. I'm looking at JSA. Surprisingly, fifth with 6 points. They had 3 eliminations, considering they were kind of in, I wouldn't call it a blender, but that feeling when you're constantly losing a player and having to res them and you just cannot focus on the aggression. So that's just kind of there. And, Control Freaks going out a little bit early, 6 points. I'd like to look at the 11th through 20th placing teams next and see how that went down. Veneer, 9 eliminations. Had they gotten out of Harvester, Tessa? Had
They
they
would have
gotten
been
out of
popping
Harvester?
off. Yeah, that would have been amazing for them. I do also want to give a good shout out to Lust for staying alive and getting those edge kills. That gave them a lot of points that they wouldn't have gotten otherwise. But yeah, oh my god, if Veneer had gotten out, and they kind of like paid the price of not having that Valk. We talked
Hmm.
about how it was so popular. I like seeing non-Valk comps, but in that specific scenario, I think they overestimated how easily they could transition from one area to the next, and they paid the price. And I think another one to point out is Flower Power, 0 points this game. That's a huge that's a huge goose egg for them because they came in and just dominated last week. This time they are starting very far down.
We all have those games where you're just like, we're not going to talk about it. It's that GG go next, right? We're just going to brush it off. We're going to send it and everything's going to be just fine. And that's what I'm looking for Flower Power to do. That's going to be Dopey, Giggle, Autumn, and Princess. And I think they have the ability and the comp experience to go ahead and bounce right back from that. And that's what I look forward to.
Absolutely. I think we saw I think obviously the top teams that were up there, Mommies and Friends, just all did great. But I think we did see a lot of teams really stay alive in situations that a lot of other teams probably would have just faltered and fell apart. And I think that's a good look for a lot of these teams. I'm hoping we can continue to see that as we go on throughout the day, and maybe we'll see some of those teams just kind of get a better start, right? Because when you're already doing well from a very disadvantaged position, it looks good for then when you get that opportunity to pop off, you look like you can take advantage of that better.
Exactly. Well, congrats to Mommies from coming out on top here in game number one. We're going to cut to a quick break. And when we come back, game number two. Welcome back to Celestial Cup Split 2, Week 3. I'm Spider Tiff. This is Tessa, and we are bringing you all the action. We have 20 teams here tonight that are duking it out, and Mommy's just walked away with Map 1 victory. I don't even know what to say, Tessa. This is gonna be a wild night.
Absolutely. I think honestly, last game was a very hectic game. We had so many teams on that southern side that struggled to try and move up there because there's just so many choke points. And specifically, we saw Yusaki and them just kind of struggle because they did not have that Valk, right? They stayed
Mhm.
really long trying to get those kills on the team that had the Watson, which was really dug in there. And I made the point of like, you guys need to leave because you don't have that rotational power, and I think they paid the price for that at the end of the day.
I think that's an exact statement. You brought that up during the fight. We were talking about that over the break. I mean, they had 9 eliminations, so still getting some really great points in there for map number 1. And yes, this is a battle of consistency, but if you're going to choose to not utilize Valk, definitely prioritize your rotations ahead of time. We saw during their kind of rotation through Harvester that a team had actually Valk ulted
Mhm.
in onto them, and then we had Lust that was just outside of the zone as a 2 stack, just waiting and holding everyone that was coming in. And that was brilliant for them. You made the right call there. You were like, hey, we know we can't take that traditional 3v3 fight. So we're going to sit here and play to our advantage. Let that ring weaken you down. And we're just going to pepper some bullets in and just pick up a few easy eliminations. So now with map 1 underdone and dusted, I'm just excited to see, will we see some changes coming through? Will Yusaki and Co kind of elect to choose a Valk in their team composition, or will they continue to utilize what they're comfortable with but prioritize their rotations?
Yeah, I think I'm very much of the opinion I think Valk is overrated. I mentioned that it was good in that specific scenario. That is the exact scenario you do want a Valk.
Mhm.
The big thing about Valk is just her ability to maneuver in fights. The ult itself, I think, is vastly overrated for a lot of teams, and I've seen a lot of teams take very late Valk ultimates that have hurt them a lot.
Mhm.
So I would like them to keep that composition. I just would like them to also prioritize getting to the ring just a little bit more so they don't end up running into that same kind of situation.
True. At that point, you're just kind of juggling, do I want placement points or do I want these eliminations? And at that point, it's like, are you comfortable with going out now? But you just have to make sure that you are racking up every elim that you are staying here to get. Because at that point, you're just looking. But let's go ahead. I'm sure we got the overall points kind of set up and ready. I'd like to go ahead and look at those to see just how they kind of threw out. We know a lot of teams had hefty eliminations, but we had some placement points. So let's see. Mommy's coming in with that 22 points. We saw that before break. And guess who? 16 points. Tessa, take us through.
Yeah, absolutely. We got UTFT and third veneer then coming in as well. Despite the early exit, the 9 kills just give them
Mm-hmm.
such a boon into that fourth spot. So they're not feeling threatened yet. And then EOS, JSA, obviously JSA really struggling, just trying to stay alive in that last game. And then from then on, Control Freaks, Loch Nessies, Lust, Team Nothing, all doing at least enough to keep themselves in the argument for this top
It was
10.
kind of interesting. JSA with 2,100 damage is on par for something like Guess Who
They
in
were
second,
always
right? But they
fighting.
didn't get the eliminations that they would have wanted. I feel like they were just fighting that uphill battle in map number 1. So looking for
Exactly.
them to kind of bounce back in a team that I'm not seeing here on the top 10 that we were chatting about pre-broadcast at the end of map number 1. That's going to be in your 11th through 20 placing teams. We're looking at Flower Power. They were last week's winner and unfortunately kicking it off with a donut here today. Gonna have to find a little bit more luck, right? RNG, that
Yeah.
battle royale style. Sometimes you just don't get the upper hand in the game, and this happens.
Yeah, we only saw the end of the fight, so I don't think we had a good idea of what exactly happened. Just if they weren't kitted up, if they weren't in a good position, if they got jumped on unexpectedly. We don't really know entirely, but I'm not terribly worried. Obviously, Flower Power have the power to come back. We know that they are a good team, and I think that they will start to just come back up in this next game. Hopefully, just not running into the same problems. Sometimes you just have those off games and you just got to, like you said earlier, just brush it off, move into the next game and start doing your thing later on in the day.
I completely agree. And then the 13th place team, Comms, right there, 1,200 damage, pretty much 1,300 at this point, but only providing 1 elimination. That is one of those teams that we saw that was kind of putting some issues in with Lust, right? They forced them, they had gotten a down, they had gotten a full, and the Lust kind of went split, right? And that's where the team was gatekeeping Veneer. So it was forcing a lot of these teams to scatter, but I feel like they kind of stayed in that area a little bit too long. You saw them move in on that fight at Lava Siphon, that Veneer was just kind of hanging out, waiting to sweep up.
Mhm.
Toms was the team elected to take that Val Gold. And unfortunately, I think they're the ones that potentially went in over to them on Harvester and got gate kept as well. So just
Yep.
one of those things where we see a lot of people playing edge, right? An aggressive edge style, but so many teams were outside of the zone today.
Absolutely, and I think that was also just a factor of how that ring was. It
Hmm.
pulled right from Lava Siphon into Fragment, and there's so little opportunities to actually get into Fragment from that side of the map that do not include a choke point. Like, everything there is just very small. It's those little, like, cracks in the mountain behind Fragment, and you're just all going to run into that if you're all playing really late ring, and that kind of is where we saw a lot of those teams fall apart. I saw it before that ring, just all the teams over at Lava Siphon, everybody that was not in Lava Siphon was either already in Fragment or pretty much just on their way there and not going to run into everybody. It was really kind of a game of two separate games going on.
Yeah, actually, that's a really good way to put it because when you're looking through it as the rings were closing and we were moving further in towards that end game from the mid game, there was only like one or two teams that were prioritizing that moment. And then look who comes out on top. Mommy's prioritizing zone, right? The team that got second prioritizing zone. So it's kind of like, hey, they didn't get caught out. This is one of those moments where it's like game number one is all about providing information. And that's what I like to see. You're like testing. How are people playing today? What am I up against? And then you start making small little tweaks and changes, maybe not in those legend compositions, but in your play style and your timing of things. Because I think that you said it best when teams are just not electing to rotate, they're prioritizing their eliminations. It's like, hey, let's take it. Let's run. Let's go. We learned what does work or what doesn't work. And I think Mommies is going to try to just run it back at this point.
Yeah, I mean, so the big thing that mommies did have going for them is they had a god spot, right? Like,
Yeah.
basically they were locked into a really good spot. You cannot rely on that happening, right? Unless you know the zones inside and out, which you're not going to know every single possible zone, you've got to be prepared to make those kind of rotations. I'll be interested to see if mommies can replicate that despite not being in that same situation, or if that is just an instance of they were in the right spot at the right time and they just took better advantage of it than anybody else could, trying to take that from them.
Yeah, because I mean, we've seen where the zones over towards Frag pull just outside of Frag East, right? So then everyone that's holding a building in Frag East has to push out into the open. And it's pretty much like someone just playing duck hunt at that point. So
Yep.
luckily for them, it stayed just inside. And those two teams that had a nice building were able to just kind of take their pick of the teams making their rotation in from those other buildings. But I mean, with World's Edge, we see a lot of southern zones, so that's not something that typically happens, in my
Mhm.
opinion. Like, I just feel like we get so many southern zones. It's kind of refreshing to see one in Frag, in my opinion.
I mean, Frag has very interesting final zones because, like we saw, you can just take a building, right? There's so
Mhm.
many buildings there that teams could just take them all. That's why we had so many squads alive in that final kind of ring area, because we zoomed out. Lo and behold, everybody bought a house. The economy's great. Everybody's doing fine. And then just the ring kind of closes in, and we just saw everybody kind of just panicking and running outside. So that's kind of just where fragment zones can end up. But then you get into those southern rings where you've got to play a little bit more loosey goosey because there aren't those walls, there aren't those areas you could just really heavily lock down unless you have something like that Watson or Caustic, like you talked about. Like, even if you don't have those in Fragment, you're fine, you can survive. They help, but it's not needed. When you get into
Mhm.
things like the Lava Siphon area or Tree, like, those are wide open areas and you're playing with very minimal cover unless you can create some yourself.
Right. And you mentioned that it's the create your cover. And I'm looking around at a lot of our team compositions. and not necessarily a whole lot of Watsons or Newcastles, but we did have a fair share of Caustics, which can really control the area. We had a few Gibbies, which, hey, we talk about it all the time, and we see a lot of teams electing to just throw away Gibby. And I'm like, Gibby is still really good. You saw
Mhm.
that Gibby ult come into play in that final two squads, and I thought it helped create them space and give them the advantage to really take the upper hand in that fight. So it's like, yeah, don't throw away Gibby just yet. Like, bring him in if you feel comfortable and you are really a strong Gibby or a strong Caustic player. You are creating your space and anchoring it in the areas in which we have the ability to do so, guys. We are setting up game number 2, but Tessa, I want to talk to you for a second because you're talking about fortifying, creating your space, holding down the real estate. We all know Catalyst just got announced, and I was like eyes glued to the gameplay trailer and
Yeah.
talking about that passive, right? The fortification. Have you looked into that at all and how it actually works yet? Because I know we're all still kind of waiting.
Yeah, I don't know the numbers or anything,
Mhm.
obviously, but it does, to my knowledge, it works on anything that is considered like a interactable kind of object. So
Okay.
rampart walls on like Newcastle, I believe, the doors, obviously we saw
Mhm.
just anything that can be broken can be made harder to break by her passive is my understanding of how this works. And I'm excited because just for a lot of different reasons for Catalyst. And just I heavily believe that I will be playing the heck out of her when she does release. I'm sure a lot of people will. And I'm just excited to see her get her opportunity, and just the new map also just looks incredible.
Yeah, the new map. Oh my gosh, now that I think about it, it was a broken moon. It looks beautiful. I saw like those what are those trees called where they have the pink blossoms? They're just absolutely glorious.
Sakura trees.
Maybe. I don't know much about
I believe
trees.
that.
I
I
have
believe.
cherry blossoms.
Yeah.
I do like cherry blossoms. Hey, regardless, absolutely glory. I'm excited. November 1st just looming down the corner, and I'd be curious to see just how that map is going to play because it looks spicy. I'm excited about Catalyst, and it's gonna be a good time.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. So the thing just quickly on Catalyst is like I want to see how she's going to affect pro meta because I feel like those teams that are playing Rampart are just rubbing their hands together waiting for that patch to drop because that is their moment, right? You play that, you have such good defensive capabilities and you're just doubling down on it, right? One of the things I'm also curious about too is if her passive will work on caustic barrels, because that is one that I'm not entirely certain on.
Mm.
They're already pretty difficult to take care of, and adding that in as well could be like really, really interesting. But we'll have to
It
see.
is a breakable object. You can shoot it.
Correct.
You know what? I guess we just have to wait to see November 1st. Everyone's going to be jumping into lobbies, jumping into the firing range, throwing things down, trying to fortify it. Because my question with the fortification, I'm like, how many things can I fortify at once? Can I fortify a full skyscraper inside of Frag East, or can I only do like one door? But hey, we've got it. Thank you so much for your patience. Game number 2 is almost here.
We'll be starting very shortly, yeah. And we'll see. I want to see where this ring's gonna go because, like you said, we got the fragment ring. I'm good with one fragment ring. Like I don't need more. Maybe a second, maybe a second if we're doing like 6 games. But with 3 games, I don't want another fragment ring. I want to go elsewhere. I want to see these wider open areas. I really like the epicenter climatizer area of this map, so I'd love to see something up there. I think epicenter has a lot of really interesting ways to play around it. Regardless, teams landing, and we're seeing more fights. Once again, countdown is going to be contested. We do see a team landing over on Big Mod. Now, Lava
Mhm.
City is not going to be going over to, I believe, Comms alone. And now we're going to see, once again, our fight over at Countdown.
Ooh, getting a little spicy. We know Team Nothing came out on top during the first one, but it's Spitfire. This is what I'm going to call it. Lightyears is the Spitfire at this point, going up in the gravity lift, and they already lost Yoli. The fuse going down, trying to pop some shield cells and make a play for this. And if all then going to catch him in the back. Going to get the shield crack, but within 1 inch of their life. Snow Red going to take them down.
It is a one-on-one, I believe, in this situation. Wraith is just going to peace out. Maybe you get the res here.
So let's get you
Oh.
a do-over.
Uh-oh. Okay, nope.
Oh.
Nope, he's crawling.
We're sitting there, we're like, oh, the door is opening. It's like
Yeah.
a hard game at that point, but able to get the res off. Now going into res the third player.
Yeah, I mean, once you get one up, it basically opens things up from there on. Team Nothing basically going to be able to reset. I feel like the back away here might have hurt them more than it helped. They do have to remember, though, that there is another team that lands over near here, just on the other side of Countdown, and they have the risk of being third party.
Yeah, and that's a great point. But now just going in to get the full thirst, that's going to be on Kathleen Streams. And hey, sometimes you just got to clean up your mess. Honestly, I respect the decision to kind of disengage from this fight. One thing knowing if you are not Spitfire, make sure you get all those things. Hey, but if you're gonna have a Spitfire and you find a 2x4, W.
Absolutely. They just got to make sure you get that ammo. You're running double light right now, and you have 63 shots on 2 very ammo-dependent guns. So, you know, ammo-dependent's not a good word. Every gun is ammo-dependent, I guess.
It's true.
Like,
it's true. Unless you hit your shots perfectly all the time, you're just.
It still requires
tier.
ammo, though.
I mean,
it's dependent on the ammo, but. That is a weird shaking on the Valk there. I don't know if that's
trying really hard not to look at it. I get motion sickness. I'm not gonna lie, and I feel like I'm in like an earthquake. I heard there was an earthquake over in San Fran today, or over that side California, and I don't know if it's had a long-lasting effect. Just kidding. I have no idea where the player is from, but that's just what I'm saying. But hey, they did get a reset. Snow Red coming back in from VSK, looking to pick up banners, and I think they should find no issue with grabbing them because it seems. Oh my God, I lied.
Yeah, they're just gonna get jumped on here. And Snow Red just gonna back away. I think this is the rat angle here. You're already definitely not getting your seer, and I don't think Valk's gonna come either. Nope, maybe not even the rat angle. Maybe the sit down and cry angle.
It's maybe the GG go next, enjoy the lobby angle, but just Team Nothing in full force going in, and Yoli is going to be able to grab the finishing touches. VSK, the first team eliminated here in Team Nothing, a brilliant reset. They were able to win that 50-50 once again and are coming out so incredibly strong from it. So good job to them.
Yeah, 3 points at the start of every game is huge, right? Like that you are getting at the very least for these 3 games, you're getting 9 points there, just for being there, right? As long as you can keep doing that. Lust now we're also checking in on. Remember, they did lose somebody and they were just playing Edge. Now looks like they are kitted up and ready to fight. Already getting 1 kill on Renee and full purple shields already for their team. They are looking to try and play aggressive.
Yeah, this is much different than what we saw them last time. You're right. We lost Scarlet's Envy early in a previous scuffle over towards Lava Siphon, and now in Geyser, all purpled out. We have the ultimate available, and they are beautifully set up. You mentioned it. Oh, but the caustic, not that you want to turn tables. And I feel like if I'm just walking down a hallway over in Geyser, the last thing I want is a caustic trap. But that's why I play Wraith. They tell me when traps are nearby and when people are aiming at me, because I don't have the spatial awareness to be, aware.
Just no thoughts, just
no
one
thoughts.
W key. And that will just be left backing away for now. And I'm definitely interested. Like we said, we had a couple of teams just kind of struggling to survive for a while. EOS now also, we're not able to survive too long, getting in a fight already here.
Ooh.
I don't know if they're gonna win this one. They're gonna get the shots down, but that is 2 down already. And the Valk short to follow. That will be EOS going down once again. Unfortunate for them. Lognessi's showing up, I believe, for this third party now.
It ain't no party like a third party. Zfei on the Seer coming in with that R9, looking for some stragglers and going on the full aggression. Ring at the back, but no worries. It's just round 1, and that's not going to save you there. Shield cracked right there, and just going to go in and say, hey, I just need to put the finishing touches. I think there is a charge rifler in the distance.
God.
This aim is just god tier. Gibby bubble force, but doesn't matter. Zfei going. PK in hand. So hungry, so ready, trying to put the finishing touches in. But if you don't have a heat shield or heal, you're going to die to the ring. And sometimes that aggression is not going to come into play. But that's okay. Loch Nessie's teammates are there and ready to help you.
Mommy's down. So that is a game 1 winners out already. So that's a huge loss, right? They had that good game 1. They are relying on that game 1 to keep them in this. They are going to definitely be in competition for that #1 spot rather than running away with it.
That is just not what they want. But hey, we talked about consistency. They can kind of ride out through a bad game if need be. I know Comms is also out. UTFT fallen as well. And on board with Nice Girls in the form of Malvana. They have the black hole in the hand, ready and waiting. We just need a good line of sight on the enemies. Hey, you know what? Table it for later. Not a really good, but hey, look at this beautiful oversight so you can see where all of the enemies and all of the teams, they're just kind of lining up in this chokehold. Talk about the ring. We were like, hey, maybe we don't want to see a frag one, but we're going all the way south.
Absolutely here. The tree one I talked about, open and definitely not a lot of cover outside of the big middle area there. The tree itself being the main thing that will keep you safe. So now Nice Girls locked in here, and you can assume that this ring is going to keep pulling towards Nice Girls. Just for people who do not know, ring generally pulls in the same direction. So if it is going that like bottom right left, team nothing now though in trouble.
Really last alive, just trying to get out of dodge within an inch of their health, and unfortunately gonna get shot in the back. It's Piku from Arc is going to be the finishing touch into that, and they were all so incredibly low. So this Dorito building fight, you know, just really putting the finishing touches in them. But the G7 Scout, you know, if you've got a G7 Scout, you are going to be able to pester people. Let's jump on over to Vinny. On there with the R301, just hip firing, absolutely lasering. This is what we want to see. They had 9 eliminations in game number 1 and coming out incredibly strong here. TLM also going to fall. I believe I just saw Flower Power also falling as well. So a lot of teams going out early on just in ring number 2.
Absolutely, a lot of fighting going on, and Isaki just kind of getting the wingman that I can't seem to find in my games, which is the one that hits shots. Holy crap, those were good headshots too. Isaki just 1v2ing people. Now guess who? They were in our second team down in game 1. Now they are looking at a fight with LNW, a team that was really kind of struggling throughout game 1 until they went out early, and not looking like a good start for here.
Oh yeah, as soon as their Valk player is going to be down, leaving the Horizon and Seer left standing, we get a good overview of the tree and kind of how this is going. Got the Near on the left side, they're coming in, looking at their teams. There's 3 different teams that are in this vicinity, and I feel like if you're a team on the outside, you have the best chance to pick up as many eliminations as possible and going in with the PK. But when the PK hits for 9, that's not what you want. Just trying to make it happen. And guess who? The team that took second place in map number 1 going to be eliminated, but you're going to have to answer back to the last team that was inside that building as well. Good use of the race portal right there.
I think one of the seers that came through there was not the teammate, and quickly realized that was a bad idea. Popped
going back.
Yeah. It's just like you're lost in the store as a child. Just go back. I don't know where mom is. I'm gonna try and go back where I was. LNW now just also gonna fall. Veneer doing exactly what they did in game 1, but this time inside the ring, deep inside the ring. Still fighting. And they're gonna take out Control Freaks. Leave some for other people.
No, this is what they want. They are blood hungry, and I am all for it. We saw Winx from Control Freaks falling. Winx, I believe, just competed at LAN, bro. The Arkansas LAN that happened, the Rewired Fest, just there competing, had that experience, is getting more and more experience and comfortable on comp. But Nice Girls also going into a very great engagement. You saw the destroying of the ultimate, and now they're fending off that push for now.
That was massive there. You get pulled in that choke point. That is death for certain. Nice Girls just taking that one down. And we'll see them back away. It seems like they still want to hold on to this, but I don't know how long they want to hang out in this choke, because if they have another party come in behind them, they are now stuck in between 2 squads with no escape possible.
I mean, they do have a Valk. It's just not going to be... The thing about Valk is ever since she got that, like, tiny bit of little reworks or nerfs, you know, it makes, like, less things... Like, if you get punished really hard by that push or the pinch, you cannot utilize your Valk to just get out of dodge in a moment's notice like that. It's just not going to work. You're going to have to find another way, and unfortunately, I don't think there was. That was like a valley of death at that point. But JSA going in for the kill. I love Ava being on the crypto. We don't see a lot of crypto, but... Wait a second, Tessa, no one is in that final zone right now.
Why would you be? There's too many fights to have outside of the zone. Why be in the ring when you can kill everybody outside of the ring? You still win either way.
Fair enough.
To be fair, they do not know where that ring is going yet, I don't think. So, oh, there is the big crypto.
I love when a crypto ult actually gets to work out and no one shoots the drone. So JSA now swarming in, looking to put the finishing touches. They've got all the shields cracked and they have a PK in hand. It's going and it's going to connect. Now, can we make it happen? A good grab lift coming out.
There's one down already, and Nade maybe gonna try and make it back away, but I think they're just looking to push this one. They do not need to play this one defensive at all. JSA, they do want to get their horizon back up because they need to be careful about how many teams are outside here. They do lose Sabs, and there's teams just looking, craving this fight here. You can see him coming around on that back side here, maybe trying to clean up what is left of JSA.
Yeah, that's going to be Arc pushing in, looking to kind of, you're right, clean it up, and all the full force, the black hole coming out, the spam of nades, Ava going in and trying to destroy it, but the damage might already be done. Janie with a little bit of shield left. Thankfully, it's gold, so you only have to pop one shield cell to get a majority back. I love the Valk ultimate, but it's going to get canceled.
Yeah, that is the risk you have here. Trying to Valk ult in these big situations, you're not going to be able to get it without just running the risk of somebody stopping you. So now, ring coming, they've got to just drop down, and they've got other teams to fight.
Oh, this is going to be spicy. Arc was looking for some easy third parties, and JSA is going to fall to the hands of Mighty Macaroni, but you're just not going to make it out. We talk about how frugal, like this, I don't even know what kind of word that was I was trying to say, but the ring is dangerous, and you got to stay out of it, because this is what happens when you lurk a little bit too long.
I mean, I can respect the fuse ult just to keep them there and make sure they die. Like, you are sacrificing your life to take out a squad for your team, right? So Arc do lose the fuse here, and you know, it's not ideal. You'd rather have the fuse, but if you're gonna die, taking a squad out with you basically by locking them in place is exactly the way you'd want to go. So good heads up play, and we'll see what Arc really want to do. They are being shot at already in this area. They do have the Valk ult ready once again. We'll see if they want to try and take that to get into a better spot.
Tessa, every time you were saying that whole thing about the Fuse sacrificing himself, you know the Harry Potter meme? No, he's going to sacrifice himself. I can't even do the voice, but I don't want to do the voice. But I was like, no, what is it? He's going to sacrifice himself. I look, it's bad. But that's all I was thinking about that entire time. My brain was just having this moment, and I was just like, you know what? I respect it. 5 squads remaining, and you've got plenty of elimination points, and coupling it with the placement points is going to be absolutely beautiful. Your next matter of business is finding some real estate that is available in a very terrible zone. And Veneer out in like kind of that chokehold point, still just where they were, utilizing this vehicle in front of them for cover. Still alive though.
Yeah, but I mean, they are just holding on. Look at them. Yeah. Just take it all out. You know what? Your backpack, don't need it. If you're holding still, don't need a backpack. Just put it all on the ground, right?
I'm just gonna set this here for later.
Yeah.
I'll be back for you. But I mean, I respect it. That's living in that position. They know they're back, right? No one's behind them. They know kind of where that team is in the building in front of them. They've got the seer to find the information utilizing
They're
the
spreading
Q.
out a bit.
My question is, will Malvana and the Nice Girls pull out of that building in 8th? But you run the risk because someone's going to third party immediately.
Yeah, I mean, I think they realized that Veneer's a little bit split up right now, and you can see Yusaki just trying to back away using that ult. Now might be in a little bit of trouble. I feel like they may end up losing the Wraith here. Not enough knowledge yet to know, but I think they are just... Did they just swap positions? Is that what happened? I honestly don't know how Yusaki got out of that.
You know, at this point, we may never know. Regardless, we have Insta is going to be the leader with 6 eliminations. They're looking to improve on that 9 eliminations in game 1, and they're going the distance at this point.
Did.
Like, this is just insane. You're gonna
It's
have
11.
11 total. Sheesh.
Yeah, at least, because you can see 5 assists, 6 kills.
Oh, fair enough. Math is hard. I don't do math very often.
I've never seen numbers before in my life.
You know what, Tessa? This is gonna be a good pairing. But Veneer, look at that. Seer exhibit out for the enemy team. Shiro gonna go ahead and destroy it, and they are gonna put the nail in the coffin for Nice Girls. And now you have to set your sights on the other 3 teams in the lobby, and you can get a good overview of where they're going to be. You see Arc still alive, still fuseless, never went back for the banner because it was in the ring and it's just done and dusted at that point. You were going to die trying to get them. And they're just holding that very outskirts as a 2-man stack right there. It's they are taking some damage, and you can see kind of Veneer is putting some line of sights down on, but they are still split. Yusaki is still kind of very far away from Shiro and co. And I respect it. If you're going to go in for that pinch flank play, they already forced the Gibby bubble.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, so the Gibby bubble is also just so that they could grab that, grab what was in that box. So they are just kind of just going to back away. But the biggest thing here is like if you're on that, I get the Valkyrie here now. KBM maybe now being left in a bad spot here. Ring's going to start closing in 20 seconds, and they have not only a good distance to cover, but there is verticality to that as well. So they have to be very careful how they're doing that. KBM's just going to try and get over there safely.
Yeah, that's a very dicey. I feel like anytime I see that Skyward dive late game like this, you're pretty much flipping a coin.
I hate 'em.
You
I
don't
hate
know
'em.
how it's going to go. There's no buildings available, and you're going to be hovering for the last 30 feet and be just basically open season.
Exactly.
But Arc still alive on that very north whatever side. I don't know my northwest, southeast, never eat soggy waffles. Look, I'm trying. But Veneer on the right side, throwing out the Syracuse, looking for some information, but they have the best positioning. No one is behind
Arc
them.
is out.
No one is on their left. I'm liking this.
Yeah, right now, Vernier just controlling so much space here. Look at how much of the ring they have versus the other 2 teams. So they're forcing them to fight each other, and they're going to look to try and clean this up.
Oh, Gibby ult going down. Seer exhibit up as well. Bubble in the storm, and KBM is going to be eliminated. You're looking at your final 2 squads, and Veneer has the upper hand. They are your winners in map number 2. Absolutely beautiful, well done, right? We knew exactly what they needed to do coming off of that map 1 where they had 9 eliminations and kind of got gate kept into the ring. They turned it around and played beautifully.
Absolutely. It was such a well-played fight there on the end. They just took up so much space there. You know, that's what you can do with that Wraith. You hold off to the side there. You just keep playing aggressive to try and give people the idea that you can take that space at any time and have the rest of your squad show up so that your enemy squads don't have as much to play with. They took up almost half of that final ring, and because of that, they forced the other 2 squads to fight each other, then allowing them to come in very easily and cleanly to clean up the third party for the win.
Tessa, we need to have a talk.
Yep. Yeah.
33 points for Veneer.
That's pretty good.
What?
I will have to say that is pretty good. When you take out a third of the lobby, you're gonna get some points for that, right? 21 kills is most of this lobby. Remember, we are only at 19 squads too. So that is a lot of the squads here that they took out. Vernier on an absolute warpath throughout this game.
I mean, you couldn't have said it better. Like, I could not have said that better myself either. Like, that is exactly what it was. It was Warpath. It was vengeance, and they came out on top. That is what you want to see done. WKL in second place with 12 points. KBM going out in third with 11, tied with Arc. Shout out to them. The Fuse made the ultimate sacrifice, and you were able to garner some very nice placement points. JSA coming in
Exactly.
5th once again, incredibly consistent. Loch Nessies, Control Freaks, LNW, Nice Girls, Guess Who. Now the thing is, once again, Tessa, who's in that 11th through 20th? It's going to be Flower Power. We saw them go out incredibly early
Yeah.
once again.
Yeah, only getting 1 point so far, and that's really concerning, right? You look at that. I think EOS is a team that we also were expecting a lot from. They have
Mhm.
won 2 of these 6 weeks that we have had of play. Them having 0 points at match 2 alongside Flower Power, like these are 2 teams that we said were like top 5 teams. They're at the bottom here. This is really concerning and very, very scary to see them just have almost no points going into our, we are a third of the way done for the day. I don't know how you start to come back from this, but there needs to be some kind of just get together to realize what is going on and how do we fix this?
Right? Maybe at this point, I mean, you said it best, right? Some very strong teams here in the 11th through 20th. There are three teams that placed top five last week, right? That are in the 11th through 20th slots. So at this point, it's like, you're right. Reassess, regroup. Let's figure out what's going on. Maybe we start on board with some of them during map number 3, but I would love to see kind of Veneer's path to success at this point because they are so incredibly aggressive and they are just so strong from start to finish. That entirety, the mid game, the beginning, the end game, that was just played to textbook perfection. I might have to hire him as a coach to carry me to, like, silver 4 or something because I got to get out of bronze at this point.
I mean, that the biggest thing though is like they only could do a lot of that aggression because they did not have that Valk,
Yeah.
right? Like have the other legends that they can play really aggressive on because Valk just does not have that capability. She's more about the reposition. She's more about having that in fight mobility. Whereas like you have the seer, the wraith, like these are characters that are built for fighting and they're going to do that really well. So I like that we see that this time. I like that we see them getting to ring earlier and really taking advantage of that by just wiping the floor with teams.
Wiping the floor with teams. Hey, I love it. Veneer coming out on top in map number 2. Will they be able to carry the consistency on our final map of World's Edge? We're going to cut to a quick break. And when we come back, map number 3.
And welcome back, everybody, to Celestial Cup Split 2. I am Thousand Eyes. That is Spider Tiff. I am so excited now to get into game 3 here because game 2 was an absolute banger, complete domination by Rainier. And I just want to see how that affects the standings.
You're completely true right there. It was a straight banger from start to finish, and it paid off for them. 30 eliminations between 2 games, Tessa. 43 points. Phenomenal.
I mean, look at the damage too. That's the other thing. Like, you have second place has 4180 damage. First place is 3k damage above that. That's absurd. Like, there is just a massive level between Vernier and Mommies. Now, remember, Mommies did go out very early in the
Mhm.
second game, so there is definitely a difference in terms of game time. But man, Vernier putting on a clinic and taking a definitive lead for game number 2. We'll see what game number 3 maybe is going to bring us, because if Vernier is on form like this throughout the entire day, I don't know who is going to catch them.
Look, if they do this throughout the entirety of the evening, someone sign them, bro. ALGS Pro League is around the corner. Put Veneer in. I'm putting all my bets on them. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at teams in the 11th through 19th position. We've got Team Nothing sitting in 11th, EOS, one of the teams in the top 5, as well as Comms and Flower Power last week. Veneer was in 4th last week, and now they're sitting in 1st. A whole bunch of shakeup, but it is only going to be going into the 3rd game. We still have a little bit left, right? 4 maps. I can't count. We're not doing math. I don't do math past like 2 p.m. every day, just so you guys know. My math is early in the morning. That is it. Regardless, a lot of teams here looking to find some success on the back half of this tournament. But hey, maybe World's Edge isn't your cup of tea. No worries. You get all your points on Storm Point. Just make it a little more tough for you at that point, because consistency is key. And while we're setting up map number 3, which will be our final World's Edge map, let's go ahead and remind you guys kind of what happens here, right? Celestial Cup split 2 every day, every week. No, it's not every day. It's every week, right? But I wish it was every day, because that would just be absolutely amazing. But the top 15 teams tonight will be qualifying for next week's tournament. At the end of the split 2 series, the top 20 teams in soul points, because that's what they're kind of duking it out for, right? They want to find themselves a spot in that finals. We had the split 1 finals. I believe it was only a few weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken, Tessa. And
Yeah.
that was spicy. And if Veneer keeps playing, they are definitely going to seal themselves a ticket after the split 2 is up to the finals.
I mean, how do you not seal a ticket when you're killing, just a third of the players in the game, right? Like, if you take out what if you remove the impossible, whatever remains has to go to finals. I believe it's the saying. Somebody can correct me on that one. But yeah, I'm want to see what happens in game 3, and especially now going into game 3, this is our final game on World's Edge. Teams really need to, if they are more comfortable on World's Edge, then you have to make your statement now, and then be prepared for games 4 through 6, where Stormpoint, maybe other teams start to look better because they're just more comfortable on that. I think what's really interesting too is, like, because Stormpoint is still relatively new in the competitive scene compared to World's Edge, you have players that have been playing competitive for so long, they know World's Edge so much better, whereas Stormpoint is a little bit more evened out because it did come out more recently. A lot of the later competitive players were playing when Stormpoint did get released for competitive play.
Right. Yeah. No, that's completely. And as our teams are making their way over to their designated POIs, a lot of teams making that move towards Big Mod, Lava City. Will we see the same 50-50s that we have experienced? And we are. Team Nothing consistently winning this initial 50-50 and looking to go 3 for 3 here on World's Edge. A lot of damage coming out, and Lightning Gears falling down. Yoli with only a little bit of health left, but Strawberry might have to be the one designated to make this happen. But
no.
gets tagged up from the back. This is not what you want.
Yeah, Yoli is the only one left now, and they're just going to be trying to stay alive. No time to heal. Trying to res. Interesting. I don't know if they have the capability. Yep, here comes Seer.
Ooh, playing it smart, but gonna get peppered from afar as well. I think this is all they wrote, and Team Nothing not going to win this contention here this time, and that's gonna be VSK making a strong move towards finally getting some elimination points and able to play the actual game. I feel like it's so unfortunate when you lose your 50-50s and disheartening, and it's kind of like at the luck of the draw, do you land on the other side? Because both of these teams were just landing on each other every single time, just going with what they could grab, not even trying to land on the other side.
Yeah, no, it's just a constant fighting here, and I think VSK finally, you have to really get a good mental like just boon for that win, right? Even if you this is the last time they fight, you want to have that like, all right, cool, we got our feet down, we're comfortable, we can start getting into the game and actually feeling good about it. So VSK looking much better this game, and obviously going to try and see what they can do going further and further into this game. And I'm also interested because we haven't seen them fight the teams that are nearby yet.
Hmm.
It's always been them just kind of fighting that first fight and losing. Now we're looking at them possibly just getting the opportunity to go out and see how they're going to fight the teams near.
Ooh, look at our little graphic over here. Top 10 team kills, Veneer with 30, Mommies with 12. A large portion of that coming from that game number 1. JSA not making it to end game really just yet, but still putting up a good chunk of eliminations. Very strong to see
Yeah.
from them. But Shiro, 13 eliminations alone. Yusaki, our wonderful, wonderful person behind Celestial Cup, doing a lot of work, not only in game, but behind the scenes to bring this action to y'all. So that's just something beautiful to see. I'm not going to say I'm biased or anything, but that's pretty freaking talented in my opinion. But VSK getting a little present from the Apex gods.
Ooh, a nice little rampage to be used. Checking the Minstrels here. Just gonna start poking out around. A little bit hard to hit the R9 at that range. You know, R9 PK not known for its long range capabilities. However, the missiles will do work.
A little bit of poke fighting flatline. Hey, you can tell they were able to utilize the crafter to get that extended heavy mag out of the crafter. Beautifully well done. Molvana is like, hey, I got your long range. If you want to be the up close, that Slagger, I will put a lot of that entry damage in and you can kind of swarm them. And you can see in the upper left-hand corner, that ring is still going to be yet another southern zone. So Nice Girls doesn't really have to go too far at this point. They're still on the edge, and Thermal Station is still kind of just moseying on in there. My issue with that is there's a couple choke points in this vicinity, and you have to be really heavily aware of where it's going to pull so you don't get caught late game.
Yeah, I mean, they do have the Valk, so they can get out of a lot of those situations as long as they know they need to rotate. Check in with UTFT also fighting just outside the ring here. Gonna be trying to get over towards staging away from this Harvester as they poke out teams fighting them. I think they just want to hold this edge here on the ring at the very least, if not get further in. Everybody going to be going towards Thermal Station, another area that I really like because there's just so much variation in terms of how you can play it because of the height differences. But UTFT still trying to get into that area using this little tiny building to try and see what they can do.
I never really like fighting at this little tiny building. I feel like it never goes well, and it's so open all the way around it. And so many teams will get on that bridge and just play it. But UTFT is starting to begin that rotation. They might actually go through that tunnel. And Lust over here, I think, is the team that was kind of in that entanglement. So you never know what's going to happen. The Gibby bubble is going to go down, and now it's open season. Scarlet got the G7 scout, but this quickly switch over to the Bolt to put a finishing touch on that player. They are going to find one down, so I believe that's 2 remaining.
Yeah, Lust right now just going to clean up here, but they do not have a lot of ammo here. So they are going to be in a little bit of a rough spot. You can see them trying to clean up and look at how many teams are around. They are just stuck. There's no way out that does not include fighting, and they need to be able to figure out here. LNW, okay. I think I was wrong because I think LNW is not interested here. They're going off on the other way, so they may have an opportunity to leave if they want to go out another way. UTFT, though, got to poke out and try and take some shots.
I think that UTFT forced the team into Scarlet's Envy and Co. and are now choosing to go through the tunnel and come around onto the other team. My question is Lust going to push up and take that fight to UTFT? Because there still is a team that's still kind of nestled in behind UTFT as well. Sure, they were a couple hundred meters back, but as soon as they hear those bullets and maybe see a knock in the kill feed, they may push that. But check it out. There is someone going a little bit of a longbow Larry in the distance. I mean, it's a respectable.
Is that what they're called?
I'm just coming up with names. We got Charge Rifle Charlie, Longbow Larry, any other little friends you can make. But look at that ring. That's actually
Volt Veronica.
Ooh, Volt Veronica. All right, a little spicy, a little bit of pizzazz, right? But that is not a good ring either. That is not a good ring either. None of these rings have been
I don't know. I
good.
kind of like this. I like this. Okay, it's not a fun ring to
No,
play, but I'm not
that's
playing.
true.
I just got to talk over it. So I'm cool. Like, fight. It's more. I am the Julius Caesar of the gladiators ring. Just like fight for my
You're
pleasure.
just like out there with your pitchforks, just pushing them in closer together. Come on, do something. But Flower
I
Power,
have grapes in my other
they're
hand.
still alive and they are kitted. This
Let's
is
go.
the comeback. This is the comeback for Flower Power.
Yeah, Flower Power, hopefully this time means they can get in. Now, they are outside ring. Not a thing you want to be as a caustic here. And we'll see if they can just get in. Hopefully, they can get in cleanly. This area obviously has already been picked clean. And I think they're just going to try and figure out some way to avoid a major fight going in here, because Ring will be at their back very shortly.
Yeah, and this is a really dicey spot when you're jumping off that ledge right there. You're kind of going straight out into the open to come out the back. And Veneer right now having a little bit of a slower start than we're used to seeing. Going to get tagged up in the form of Yuseki, and Incept is going to also be cracked as well. They do know there is a team kind of pushing their way out of Lava Siphon, and they can choose to hold them. But utilizing the Arc Stars and the grenades to kind of just put some initial damage down onto them, you can only hope that that team above them, which I believe is going to be Comms, who still needs a strong start as well. But Veneer is going to actually take the fight to them, utilizing the Wraith Portal as an aggressive entryway to the fight.
Ooh. Yeah, they're not going to get the kills there. Yusaki actually has to back away, so Wonder Nikki and Kayla holding ground here, but now a lot of poke. Maybe going to be the go button again. Here we go.
Oh no, she goes in. Did she get knocked and go back
traded.
out? Yeah.
No, she just traded, yeah. So that is going to just be the trade. They're going to go in on this here. And that is just going to be Comms down. Yeah, Veneer, I think, has to be happy with how that worked out, but they've got to move now. We've seen this once before. The question is, are we going to see the same thing happen again? Yusaki needs to heal up and run like hell to the next ring.
And look at that, Control Freaks already near the edge of the zone on a different side, looking to take a battle. They were able to get a down and a full onto Angel side, but knowing that their team is going to be nearby, they're still all healthy. The cool thing is about a lot of these teams, if you play it right, you can get that initial knock on that, take one out, but not have a lot of incoming damage, which keeps you prepared for, the third party, the rest of the team. You don't have to waste time healing up and going for a reset, but now the ring coming in and is at their backs, they're gonna have to just full send run. And JSA, the POV, Ava's gonna be able to find an opening down as well.
Yeah, so far they see they've knocked Sammy already, so now things getting a little bit spicy. The Caustic keeping them out, but now Danny just tossing in those wingman shots, trying to get something out of that fight. The longer they stay here, the longer they have to worry about a third party here. You can see squads just nearby on the outset. And now we'll see if Flower Power can stay alive. That is one member down, and they're going to have to continue this fight. Gigalautum seems like they're going to go down as well. And now that will just be Ms. Dopey alive. One person fighting two as the ring is coming in.
This is going to be a war of attrition and who can take the least amount of damage, and JSA just coming out on top. You did see in that overview that Arc is in the nearby vicinity of them as well, getting held into the ring. So there's at least two other teams still nearby, and JSA is going to have to find their way into that ring safely. But this is brilliant. This is what we needed to see out of them. This is your Split 1, Week 1, Week 2 winners, the finals of Split 1's winner. They have two members on this team that have the highest kills, and they're tied with the highest kills. That's going to be Ava and Sabs. They've both hit 27 kills in a Celestial Cup tourney before, and they are finally kind of going on that way for success.
Yeah, finally getting a good start here. Obviously, that has not been the case this time around, as we see Loch Nessies have been just kind of in and around here. They have been threatening to get into these top placement areas, but just unfortunately not able to make it work later in the game. Currently holding outside ring, lots of teams just being gate kept on here. All of these teams right now, they are not inside this next ring. It closes in a minute. We see Mimi the Mommy there. That is a two-person squad. We did see, I believe it was Angel Sly going down. So that is them with two. They are just trying to survive right now.
Trying to survive as well, but we saw Veneer making their entrance into the picture, and you can see they are full on pushing mommies right now. Shiro, Insa trying to make something happen, and Yusaki coming in for the pinch, and mommies eliminated. They did exactly what they needed to come for, and Sammy gonna be able to find a knock on to Janie. There's just chaos everywhere. Arc in that fight with JSA, kind of putting the thorn in their side. We were like, hey, they're finally having a good game here thus far in this week 3 of Split 2, but Arc said no, 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 not if we say something about it.
Yeah, so Mommy's gonna go down once again. Unfortunately, just not able to replicate that game 1 success on World's Edge. Checking Lust, another team that we have seen just kind of show up later on, just has not been able to get super heavy success from their situations. Is Renee gonna take some shots here? This is, like you said, we are getting into that ring that is very uncomfortable for a lot of these teams. Not a lot of cover, and Lust paying the price for that right now. They've got to figure out where they want to go. Swapping off of that charge rifle, wanting to get to something a little bit more close range.
I respect that choice, but Paige is gonna go down, and Renee starting that kind of moment where you're gonna bring that portal in. It's a good regain, right? That's the best way to utilize it. You can use it to get in at fights, to get out of fights, but also to get to your teammates and cause a little bit of distractions. Meanwhile, EOS going to fall as well, and Lust just looking to get a reset. They're getting punished for kind of hanging out into the open a little bit too long. Hey, that would be a great move for them.
That would honestly be what the call I would think would be, unless they really want to push this, seeming like they're feeling comfortable enough to do so. Yeah, I think you got to back away, get back behind that ring, or behind that rock, and then maybe go for a Valk ult when you need to here. So now this is just really where it gets funky. Look at this. Like, you have one squad in that middle area, everybody else just barely holding on inside the ring, and it is just poke city right now. Veneer taking a lot of damage right now. Look at Shiro's health.
Yeah, Insa's as well is also incredible. I mean, yeah, a centimeter on Shiro, just has the shield to speak to, not healing just yet as well. And Veneer just putting down a lot of damage. That's gonna be Yusaki on that Wraith going in. We saw just how cracked they were earlier in the car in hand. Just so much damage going out. But this point, it's like you gotta go ahead and take a step back, heal up a little bit, and then re-engage as well, because that team is utilizing that black hole, those arc stars, a lot to control the spaces here, and we don't have any more grenades to throw in there, and now other teams are looking to come into play here.
Yeah, they're just keeping them in that small area. They don't need to worry too much, because no other squad can realistically push them without getting sent on themselves. That is one down immediately. Shiro beaming on the car. Gonna lose Horizon here, but look at that damage. Shiro just absolutely shredding people right now. And they're gonna pop that. Loch Nessies have gone down. Immediate Seer ult to see if they could get anybody else. If there is anybody else that's gonna push, as they push over to get this Horizon into a spot where they can revive.
Hold on.
I actually respect the defensive use of the exhibit, and I thought that was incredibly well done. You can see that Nice Girls is already inside the area of that ring. It's fully open. Mulvana, Pretty Bond Girl, holding that spot. Now, the issue is, as long as no one kind of navigates the choke point behind them, their back will be clear, and they're going to be holding a very nice spot. But here comes the Valk ult. You can see it's coming in right now behind them. VSK going to be eliminated, and Veneer is going to have a very challenging rotation out of this low ground.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy. And once again, just not having that Valk does have consequences now. I think Valk ulting would still be a risk, but Veneer, I think they're just going to go down. That will be them going down 10th place, not where they have been. And that is unfortunate for them. Another double Seer fight here going on. Is that Seer ult moving?
Yeah, I've seen it move a few times, and I don't know how it moves. It just goes. But JSA also gonna fall. Control Freaks going to fall as well. We are descending into ultimate chaos in this zone. Tessa and Nice Girls, we're getting the POV from them, and they are about to ape on that revive. Desu also going to fall. 6 squads remaining. Who will survive this very interesting
Look at
endgame?
this. Yeah, look at this. Everybody's fighting in these buildings. These are not the buildings that are in the ring.
No.
Like, everybody's just trying to transition over to that other ring, and everybody's just holding on. Like, there's teams inside both buildings. There's teams outside both buildings. Like, it is very precarious right now. as we see just one wrong move will send this entire area into absolute chaos. And it's just going to be 45 seconds until it has to be chaos.
These teams are about to all get Nano snapped, and Scarlet Envy is trying to make that happen. Beautiful shots incoming and trying to utilize the angle of this roof for cover, but there's so many people within this area. I believe I saw one member of ARC left standing. UTFT is in the building across. And then you've got Nice Girls actually chilling, utilizing that kind of mountainous area inside the zone. If they play it right, they should be able to walk away with a map 3 victory.
Yeah, so far. You would think that Nice Girls really just have the spot they need. But are they going to be able to keep it here? Velko, I would assume, is going into that area there. They're going to have to try and defend it here, and we can see him taking those shots up. Who is going to pull the trigger first in this building area? There's so many teams that need to fight that, and I don't know how they're going to be able to do that. LNW taking so much damage, they don't have enough cover there.
Yeah, that is literally just Kristep from Nice Girls just doing the absolute most. Mulvana putting down a lot of damage, and Pretty Bond Girl hanging back and just making sure, providing that crossfire so that no one can make an entryway into them. And LNW just going under fire, and that is going to be all they wrote. Pretty Bond Girl has a bow check bow as well, so able to provide that mid to long range distance, and they are just going to play this high ground and play it so well. TLM also going to fall, and look at the chaos ensuing.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is almost like PvE mode, right? Like, there's a horde coming at you, just take them out. You are holding your ground as best as possible. Juliax, no, going down, no. That's so unfortunate.
We have seen that happen. It's like a reminiscence of what we saw in map number 1 at that end game, but they are making the distance. They are picking up some placement points. You've got Scarlet's Envy, Peef, and Renee just trying to hold that down there. And Piku from ARC, you are right, doing the best rap job I have ever seen, playing for second place. Nice Girls coming in. Now, don't overextend yourself unless you've already gotten at least 2 knocks, because I feel, but the Horizon coming in with surprise, met with the PK from Mulvana, absolutely played, hitting the gravity lift, trying to fix a different angle. My question is, when is the player from ARC going to come in? Because this is the moment. Piku able to find it down on Mulvana, the third party coming in hot. Can she do it?
Piku? Piku is actually holding this off pretty well. I don't think they know that it's won. They should now. Actually, no. Okay, Piku is inside that. They should have an idea. Kristep is just going to try and heal up right now. And yeah, now it's going to be very difficult for Piku. A literal 1v2.
This is the moment. Can Piku withstand? Gonna get cracked within an inch of their life. Pretty Bond Girl and Kristep is just going to sandwich. And Nice Girls, your winners of map number 3. However, a very valiant effort to Team ARC here in map number 3. Well done. Waited it out, played for second, and was able to even pick up another elimination in that final moment. And went for the thirst. Kind of sacrificed anything they knew about placement and just went full in to get the thirst. But beautifully done.
I mean, yeah, it's not only that second place, but getting that extra KP right at the end is so crucial there. So ARC able to get 15 points. They're able to match up despite not getting as many kills there. And now Nice Girls just up at that 22 point. You take a look at Vernier, only 8 points this time. A very massive difference from game 2. And, you know, with other teams starting to creep up, right? Nice Girls are going to have a nice boon. Mommies have struggled since game 1, but they also had a very good game early on. Now Vernier, like they need to keep the pressure on. One bad game is not a problem. Multiple bad games will be.
Yes, and it's just the issue of the rotation towards the end, right? And they were kind of already starting off a little slower than we had seen in previous, but hey, that's just the nature of how it works sometimes. And Nice Girls coming out on top. I love that, like when we saw 11 teams left, I was like, Nice Girls is literally the only team that is playing for that zone. They've already cleared their backside. Yep. And if they play this smart and like they should, they will come out with a win. And you know, sometimes when casters are right, it just feels good because, you know, as a commentator, we tend to, you know, caster curse people not willingly. We don't try to do it. It just kind of happens. You're like, hey, I think this team can win. Yeah, you just don't. You're like, I think this team can win. And they, do you really? Do you really?
It's fun.
Okay. All right. So we see you. You know what? You're
it's all
here
about
for the violence. You chose violence.
I really did. And you know what? I'm excited. It makes a good show.
It
Nice
does.
Girls, though, playing that final ring, very similar to how we saw Veneer play game two, right? They took up so much space, not allowing, like you said, clearing that backside, knowing they could move up, right? So, once again, half that ring, theirs. They're forcing the other squads to take very little space and then just throwing nades, throwing down fire, cleaning up from there. And once they did have that last person cleaning up, and you take a look now just throughout there, we're still just waiting for the flower power pop off, right? Like it just has not happened. And at this point, I feel like you're just kind of getting to the point where it's out of reach, right? You would have to have an insane back half of the games to try and pull this back into a win.
It's not impossible, right? It could happen. You just need to string three amazing Storm Point games back to back to back. But hey, we're going to cut to a quick break. And when we come back, will Flower Power and Comms be able to make the comeback that we know they have the ability to do? We'll have to find out. I was like, my nose itches, and then it shows up. I was like, oh, it's fine. I was about to sneeze. It's totally cool. Well, welcome back, everyone. It is the Celestial Cup. We are split to week 3. I'm Spider Tiv. This is Tessa, and we just saw an insane matchup where Nice Girls came out on top by utilizing the space of that final ring really well and letting the chaos ensue in front of them. But hey, Ark held out for a quick second. I'd be curious to see kind of how that shook up the overall leaderboard even more.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we still would expect Vernier to be holding that top spot. They do crack the 50-point mark here, and still teams not able to get into 30 yet. So they still do have a very strong advantage on anybody else. And just look at damage too. Like they are still fighting. And right now, everybody else is still trying to catch up. But mommies, their lead has dwindled, obviously. They were in first, now they're in second, and second is tied with Arc. So that last little bit of placement points, really important for Arc. Nice Girls also coming up 27 points in fourth place right now. So things working out really well for some of these teams who have been, like you've said all night, consistent.
Yeah, consistency is key as in any game, any tournament series. If you are more consistent than any other team, you're just going to come out on top. And Veneer, that 31-point game, just really holding their spot strong at the top of the leaderboard. Let's go ahead and cut on over and look to the 11th through 19th place. Loch Nessies had some good fights during that map number 3, holding it down in 11th and 12th place. We saw LNW going the long haul, going up against Nice Girls, but unable to take them down, fighting themselves in 12th. And then you come down, we have Comms and Flower Power, who have not been able to really put some things together. I'm hoping that the move on over to Storm Point is going to benefit them and we'll see them towards the top. But I mean, that's it. We are moving on over to Storm Point. Tessa, now you do a lot of the analysis and I really enjoy listening to it. Now, do you think that we'll see anything in terms of team composition changes? Because we do know that Storm Point has that more top down verticality, a lot more
Mhm.
movement and open spaces, but people seem to be sticking to what they're comfortable with, not necessarily what is meta.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. Like normally you would see some things change up, but I think what's important here is we have seen a lot of different compositions that you would not maybe see at ALGS, which is not a bad thing, right? I
Right.
don't want it to sound like, oh, they're playing not meta because they're not like good. Like we've seen them do good. They're really good players. But the point being that they are sticking with what's comfortable, like you said. So I don't think we're going to see too much change. Maybe
Mhm.
we see stuff like the Caustic swap off because Caustic just does not have a lot of great places to hang out in. And Storm Point, like you said, very open, very hard to try and make use of those barrels. But you never know, right? Like if you're just good at it, you can make it work. I would love to see something like the Vantage because I have been playing Vantage nonstop since her release. And I really want to see people take advantage of those long sight ranges. Her ultimate, the sniper rifle,
Mhm.
is so good. You can pick off people from long range because you tap once, get the mark, tap twice, get a knock on white armor, and then tap one more time for a kill immediately without having to go anywhere. You don't have to leave your house. You just from the living room, just take them out.
I can confirm that is exactly how it works. I'm not that I have experienced being taken out by a Vantage Ultimate in any way, shape, or form multiple times and crying alone at night when it happens. No, no, for real though, I think it's a very valuable. I would love to see it utilized there on Storm Point. But however, for the people that I feel that they use Caustic, I feel like they're going to go ahead and remain utilizing Caustic. There's a lot of buildings throughout Storm Point, and if some of those rings are going to pull towards those moments, you can lock down a lot of those buildings. I believe south of Cascades, there's like a cluster of 3 buildings. I counted it at one point. There was like 14 different entryways throughout one building. And trying to kind of control the space that you're in is incredibly challenging. But you did mention it, Storm Point, a lot of the circles are going to end out into the open. A very open
Yep.
map. You have to control your space in the open, but this is it. Game number 4, you get to see your previous match winners. You got Mommies, winner of map number 1, Veneer, map number 2, Nice Girls, map number 3. Will it continuously be a new squad emerging victorious here at the Celestial Cup? Only time will tell.
I sure hope so. Makes it really fun. Never know what's gonna happen, right? If I think one of the more frustrating things is when you just see a team just sweep wins throughout the night. Like it's awesome to see all of these teams have a shot, right? It's not just, oh, these are the top teams. They are the ones that are gonna win, right? Mommies and Nice Girls, they were highly rated, I think, in terms of teams that we appreciated, but they weren't like top tier, right? And Vernier, obviously, too, as was not one of the top 5 teams we talked about, but they're popping off. So it really is anybody's game in these nights. We're seeing LNW get a fight right out the gate here.
I do love a nice contest here, and LNWY gonna get tagged up, and Nastia going to fall as well. Nice able to find a blue shield to kind of regain as well, and a little flatline is a nice present, but they went ahead and got the full thirst on Nastia now on the low ground as well. Not something you want to defend, and you don't really have a sight on that flatline. We know the iron sights on flatlines are just atrocious.
Absolutely. I mean, they're not the worst in the game. I would rather have that than like longbow.
Yeah,
iron sights.
I respect
but
it.
like,
yeah.
it's definitely not fun. The LNW going on the hunt here, just gonna dive in. And they're going to be trying to get this one. It's a lot of damage, though. I think they've got to be careful. Another squad's coming in, I think.
It's not what you want. You were just going in for the banner and to put down some damage, but you're going to get punished for it and trying to hit the gravity lift. But unfortunately, LNW going to fall, and Renaissance going to pick up all 3 eliminations for the Loch Nessies. This is the strong start that they needed, but you mentioned it. Another team coming in. Comms could potentially be in the distance, but let's go down, jump on over to Team Nothing over here at the Downed Beast. Relatively free. This is the team that had those 50-50s every map on World's Edge, and were they won 2 of the 3. But this just really chill, right? Just taking the high ground. I believe production in my ear said there's a team here as well, and they're just looking for some information, which is, rather unfortunate. But if you won 2 of the 3 on World's Edge, I look to go.
No.
Oh, I take that back, Tessa.
Maybe not. Back. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Your money is gone if you're betting on that one. That is very unfortunate here. Now, I don't know if Kathleen, Snowred, and Valk know this, but they do have a massive shield advantage here. It's not everything, and trying to run up there will end up with a lot of damage. So it is a contention of placement in terms of the map and the actual kit that you have been able to pick up throughout the game. So right now, that is what is going to be going toe-to-toe right now. Strawberry taking a lot of damage here. I do like Down Beast as a place to drop in at. There's a lot of good loot here. They just did nothing, just did not get it.
Nothing did not find it. Let's just talk about it, because this is VSK and Team Nothing. These are the same 2 teams that contested at Countdown on World's Edge. So there's funny, bad blood in the water at this point. The moment VSK realizes they have the upper advantage, but I think they're electing. Oh no, Snow Red's coming back.
Leaving.
They're going on the They're going up the zip line. They're coming in hot. They know they have the advantage. They did a little bit of poke fighting. They saw the white shields, and I think Team Nothing is like, no, we're gone. We know. And I don't want any part of this.
You can have the dead animal. That's fine.
You win.
I didn't want it anyway.
Down Beast.
Yeah. You can take it. I'm fine. I will go elsewhere. And I think Nothing will be able to just get away here. I think hopefully they're gonna take a little bit of shots here. They do have the jump pad there to try and get out. And I think that might be a good option for them to actually try and run here. As VSK gonna start going on the offensive here. They know they got this opportunity.
Oh, CRQ going out for some information. The shield advantage was never made better. And Kathleen gonna find some nice shots with the Volt. There is nothing better than one-clipping someone with a Volt. And I feel like Kathleen is looking to make that happen, but the ring is now at their back, and all the damage is going out. Source Snow Red going to fall, and Kathleen's going to be cracked, as well as the player that she's fighting. Switches over to the Spitfire, trying to make something happen, and finally gets the full there, but you gotta be very wary of the health.
And actually, it is VSK that lose that. That's massive there. Gonna be able to get these revives. Hopefully there does not have a lot of syringes. I think you got to start grabbing some of those to get yourself back up.
Look, hear me out. Hear me out. Someone's gonna have to sacrifice themselves. I want the heals on your body.
Yeah. I mean, it's possible here. They do have that Valk ult ready to go. Hopefully they'll be able to, I think you take the jump pad, then Valk ult, try and get the most out of that. And Calm's now taking a little bit of damage as well. Just on the edge of this ring here. Maybe looking to be gate kept over on this side as they're start poking out. Now that is a close fight. Never mind.
Let's talk about this, because Comms has got a couple different things going. It looks like we've got a nice sub in the form of Clara at work. So welcome in on that horizon. So let's see if Comms are going to have a little bit of a different approach here. Wonder Nikki going to get cracked and kind of distancing themselves from that close-up fight. Going to need to find some time to hit a bat and heal. Clara doing really great to kind of do some suppression fire as well. Make sure they're not going to full send, because there are actual 3 teams in the vicinity. You see UTFT kind of in that chokehold point, going ahead and fencing that off. Nessykins and co are just chilling on the rocks.
No.
Guess who
Yeah.
going to be eliminated in the meanwhile?
I don't think they entirely knew that there was a team over there, because they just kind of ran out in the middle of that. And we do see the Watson there. This little canoe goes down. The Watson actually really good on Storm Point, I found. You can cover a lot of ground, a lot of these hills. And we see, I believe that is, oh my goodness, that is Nice Girls, I believe.
Yes. So there's
Hanging
4
out
teams,
just
or at least there
outside.
was at one point 4 teams here, and Nice Girls just kind of stuck in the back here, which is not really where you want to be. You can tank this, and I think it's smart for them to tank it and go out the back, depending on how many heals they were able to gather. Because right now, comms are going to be in a precarious situation if they run out of meds.
Well, not just that, but they're also in between teams. You can see they have to, if they're going to leave this area, they're going to run right into another team. Now, Nice Girls Valcolt can get into this ring. Now they are going to be the ones running in. So now they are giving up that capability to push in on comms and keep them sandwiched to try and get in. I don't know how well it's going to work for them. We also see Janie and friends going down, as Ms. Dopey, Flower Power also looking like they are on the ropes.
Yeah, Ms. Dopey gonna fall at the hands of Veneer. I mean, know how aggressive they've been, and Scarlet's Envy putting the nail in the coffin for Janie there. That's gonna be really challenging. Let's cut on over to Veneer, just lurking around this ring. And I see a lot of people playing this hard edge, and it is working. You're finding a lot of success, but Veneer also not having a Valk on Storm Point is going to have to keep that in the back of their head there. But WKL going to be full eliminated as well. We are down to 15 squads here in the second ring, and look at the vicinity we've got here. There's a lot of teams. You got Lust on the left, Flower Power on the right, and Veneer looming within.
Yeah, I mean, it is just Giggle Autumn, and I think they've realized that, so goodbye. Yeah, I think that's going to be it for Flower Power. Gonna take one down, though. It will just be the res. I don't think you're worried about a push.
Yeah,
So,
very unlucky.
Vernier just come out on top, and that is just so good for them. They're starting off, and I was kind of interested to see this. One of the things that you do see is like aggressive teams usually do better on Storm Point because it is a map that does not have as clean of rotations. So you usually have these teams that are really good at fighting, really good at just taking those edge fights, doing really well on Storm Point and abusing the fact that there aren't those places to hide, that there aren't those good rotations, and winning fights because of it.
Yeah, and I love that Insa here kind of went up on that high ground and was trying to put out some information and try to find some and maybe stop that push, but got completely lit up, forced to back down, and Veneer going in the gravity cannons to go on the rotation, but they're kind of moving throughout the sides. I like the election here to go around this mountain and then push hard into the zone. I'd be curious to see if we could get a look at the map of where this is kind of pulling towards, still relatively early on, and there's probably some teams in this vicinity.
Quite possibly we see the little Watson fences hanging out, and looks like we are getting a very southwestern ring over on towards the Barometer and Shipfall area.
Ooh, that's going to be spicy. We saw LNW and a lot of teams like that that kind of landed there, but quite frankly, just I'm not sure if they're still in that area, but Veneer has their sights set on a team in the nearby vicinity, able to get a crack onto the Watson. Arcstars going out, going to break that door potentially, but rotating over the roof. Now, mind you, Tessa, what do we need to remind ourselves of?
We do not have a Valk. They are going to continue this fight, though. Veneer just really going in, just beaming down. Okay, well, if you take him down that fast, don't need the Valk, right? Like, you just win.
You just gotta win, right? I mean, that
If you click
hipfire,
heads better.
Reckon we should head here.
I don't even know what to say about that. That was honestly very well done. Let's cut on over to Nice Girls and see if they can find the same success. Mulvana utilizing that gravity lift to take the high ground. PK out, aim hit for 56, doubling down with the R301. Lots of damage going out, but Pretty Bond Girl going to get completely tagged up. My thing is, where is she within this fight? Trying to find some cover because Mulvana going to be cracked as well. Pretty Bond Girl just on the outskirts of that fence, needing to kind of go in. This is going to be Mommy's.
Yeah, this is Mommy's, but also keep an eye out. You can see There is Piku on the other side there, so we're getting a little bit of arc action as well. The Seer ult is a beacon. It is the bat signal. Everyone is fighting here. Come and take your third parties, friends. If they take too long, some of these other squads are going to start peeking in. Nice go, looking to go in. Movana going to use that ult just to pop the door and make sure they can get in cleanly and start getting some poke damage down.
Yeah, they were able to reset, both mostly healed up for the most part, and Pretty Bond Girl able to get off the fence and join in on the fight. Movana looking to wreak havoc with the PK, able to connect, but does get cracked as well. They're going to have to trade this out, but you had mentioned there was a team in the nearby vicinity,
no.
and the chaos is ensuing, and now Arc Stars everywhere. PK at a distance, not necessarily going to do it for you, but they are connecting. This is just a very drawn-out fight. You mentioned the bat signal. Everyone's going to be coming this way, and look who it is. It's Comms coming in ready to party.
And they are most likely going to clean both these teams up because look at the health bars. Arc on the side, Piku just peeking in. I think that might actually just be Piku just alive again. I think it is just
it's just
Piku.
Just
It's
Piku
Piku,
living.
you know,
Doing what Piku does best.
Yeah, but the fights are just going to be continuing on, and surprisingly here it is not Comms going in yet. I don't think they know the full situation.
Honestly, sometimes you just gotta play it by ear, get a little bit of more information before you're committing yourself inside this building, because you know there are so many teams in the resistance, and Piku has a longbow, able to pick up and down onto Lina, so this is what you've got to be weary of, because I'm not sure if they know exactly where Piku is. Kayla able to get a thirst onto Mimi the Mommy. Sure, Mommy's has one player left. Now going upstairs at the shield break onto Horizon. We know Clara is incredibly talented, so I'm interested to see how she pairs well with the rest of Comms and Mommy's. Full eliminated. The question is, do they know where Piku is? And you can see right there, they just pinged the exact location.
Yep, they are keeping their eyes open there. But they are, once again, you know what? The bat signal, it might be off now, but it's still bringing people in. They saw it from far away, and they are coming. So now Piku does have, actually, Sammy alive. So there are some other players here. Grenier just hanging on the side. Cash also alone over far off on this area. Gotta try and get into this ring while avoiding these fights. All of these teams right now just hanging inside this ring. Vernier, they have to be looking to fight, right? Because they do not have a lot of cover.
Look, I love how Piku is playing this, and Comms just utilizing the high ground to just pretty much pester everyone in the nearby vicinity. And yeah, that's a high risk, high reward, but there's a lot of areas to jump down and get undercover. I like that, taking that building in the back, but the issue is it's not necessarily all in ring, and Comms knows exactly where you are. KBM falling in the meantime, and Comms is just going to throw down as much damage as possible, but I don't think it's smart necessarily to leave this building.
Absolutely. I think this building's still a good place for them to hold. Ring should still be coming in towards them, even if it's not this building specifically. They are going to just have the opportunity to clean up what is left of these death boxes. As fights are starting to break out, that ring will close, take away about half of that building. On the opposite side here of the ring, Loch Nessie's up on the top side. They are going to get into a little bit of trouble. This ring starts to hurt. They can't hang out here, and they're going to get into that fight, just dropping down, using that PK. Trying to get those shots, only 184 before going down. Now Loch Nessie's down to 1. It is just Belova going down, and now that will be it. Loch Nessie's taken down, but right afterwards, UTFT, EOS on the outside gonna clean up for the third party.
Hey, that's what they need to do. EOS finding themselves outside the top 10. Friendly reminder, top 15 will automatically qualify to next week. And EOS, they were in your top 5, actually top 3 last week, finding themselves looking for a strong game here. 9 squads remaining, just very much on the outskirts of this ring. And you can tell there's someone longbowing them. It's probably Arc. I wouldn't be surprised. Get a good overview. You've got Team Nothing on the left, Winks & Co. holding down a building. Veneer has a building. PF and Scarlet's MB Renee also have a building. You see Ava kind of in the distance for JSA. My question is Ava the last one standing for JSA?
I believe she is.
And they know.
That does not smell good. That does not spell good things for them. Is that will just, I am assuming, just going to be the cleanup for that one. Extra KP Lust gonna be trying to pull that one. I don't know if they want to full send on that. They don't know the full situation of who is around, who could take advantage of them pushing. So we'll just be the back away. Right now, they are in such a good spot, though. They have a really good high ground to hold, and it's very difficult for teams to really try and push them without getting seen, because look at how little cover there is around that, right? Like, there's no way to get to them without being seen, and they're just beaming people that peek out from these rocks.
Yeah, it's going to be really challenging. We see players going down all around. Yusaki from Veneer trying to stand alive, but needs to hit the Q. Can they get it? No, the delay is going to be there, and unfortunate not going to be able, but the teammates are going to descend and try to go and make this happen. Shiro with the car, putting some damage out, does get the elimination onto Calm, gets a shield swap, but unfortunately it is too late. So many players know exactly where they are, and I just don't know if they're going to be able to make this work, trying to kind of hide behind the knockdown skills of a teammate, but it's all they wrote for Veneer. And now mass amounts of chaos ensuing, and Control Freaks holding this building so incredibly well. And it's a caustic.
Yep. There's the caustic. There's the exact scenario you were talking about of all of these buildings just being taken control of by the caustic. They're gonna push in, take out Team Nothing, which Team Nothing, that is a good round for them. Considering where they have been, that is a big win for them to get 7th out of just, you know, they've been basically dying pretty soon after. Nice Girls actually goes down here. Probably actually taking them down. What happened over there?
Ava living their best life on the outskirts of that ring, just wreaking havoc. At this point, Ava has a whole building. She's like, whatever, I'm gonna utilize this. Y'all left, this was free, and I'm gonna stay here. You've got Arc on the north side holding that bridge, Lust utilizing the gravity cannon for cover, and we've got Winx and Co just on the other building as well. At this point, these are your 4 teams. The moment this ring forces these teams on top of each other, it's going to be the attrition of who has the ring and which way is it going to pull to, because it's going to be absolute chaos. And it could be like we saw where Veneer took that World's Edge victory, how they played it so smart by holding out the space on the one side of the ring while everyone collapsed on each other. And Control Freaks, I love their positioning here.
Yeah, I mean, everybody has to push in on them, and it's gonna be very difficult to do so. See teams just getting pinged out as they do so, and the damage just gonna continue to try and hit. Interesting to note, we have 2 full 3 squads, a 2-person squad, and a solo. So that is our current makeup of this lobby. Different's going to take the high ground and try and fight this, going in with that roll, not hitting too many shots here, and the hip fire not working. So Control Freak's going to have to back away, shield up just a little bit. They've got to be very careful how they take this.
Yeah, Favorite taking a lot of damage, and that's going to be Lust that put a move onto them. And you can see Jasmine and Co are extending with their caustic knock straps into where Lust is. Lust is hitting that gravity lift, a lot of damage going out onto Jasmine, and they are just full sending, trying to capitalize on this moment. If they can get one knock, it'll be worth it. But it's great to note that this is the 3v3 fight that you spoke of. The other people left in this lobby are not full teams, and they could utilize this moment to go ahead and say, hey, we're going to capitalize on this. But Control Freaks were able to get a reset. They're fully healed up. Lust lets them have that.
Yeah, they're just going to let them take this high ground here. Lust, this is great for them. Now, they are going to be able to hold on to this and just drop down from above. They may get seen by this seer, but really, I feel like trying to peek out of that building is just going to be a death sentence. I think the right call for either of these teams is to hold on to this high ground and then try and drop down as the ring starts coming, see what they can do. So, see on the other side, Avalide's just hanging out in there, and it is just Arc trying to sneak in this building. We may have 2 separate fights happen at the same time.
I think you're completely right in that call. I know that Lust doesn't want to push inside on Control Freaks because Control Freaks has the caustic. And as soon as I say that, look at the second fight that's happening. Avery did have a nice shield swap there, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Unfortunately, Arc just had the manpowder there to just go ahead and swarm in. And now they're going to be able to get a reset, all of Ava's loot, and now need to time it perfectly to go ahead and third party that 3v3 that's happening in the building over. It's like, hey, there's a block party. It's time to show up. They just got to get their pregame on.
It's going to be difficult to, I think they are going to be going out of the ring sooner. I honestly don't know who's going to have to drop first here. But if Lust can just wait on that high ground and take out Arc before they have to drop, that's a huge win. Looks like it is actually going to have
Mm,
to be. I think Arc have to leave first. They are
I
very unfortunately, but look at the bottom side here. You're
uh,
seeing them just. Lust is maybe going to be able to have to drop down on this. If that's the case, then Arc can make their move.
That was a really beautifully placed seer exhibit, but unfortunately it is going to get shot down. My thing is the moment Arc comes out of that building, they're going to be an opening fire session of Lust. The issue here is do not take any damage if you can control it. A great black hole to really
Oh,
put
it pulls him in the
of
ring.
Control Freak, and that is going to be so much damage, but I say so much damage and not a lot, but Wink's going to fall, and Piku and Sammy doing everything that they can to like survive the long game, and Favory takes so much damage as well. They're all just dancing
Everybody's
around.
low health.
Arc might be able to make this happen. Control Freak's going to fall. Sammy needs to get a bat off. She does. Scarlet's Envy going to fall. This is a 2v1.
way.
This is Arc versus Renee.
It is all up to Renee. Sammy is very low health. Renee also not extremely healthy here. They're tanking Ring a little bit. Renee, they're just going to push.
They have to. Piku going in for the entry frag and Sammy for the pinch, and Arc is your map 4 winners in a very beautifully executed positioning. They did everything that they could. They hung on the outskirts of that ring with 4 squads remaining. They infiltrated Ava's building. They eliminated JSA, and they just played it so patiently, waited for that moment. They should not have won that, but let's go ahead and take a look at the match point results. Arc 18 points, 6 eliminations. Lust, your second place. They were top 5. This 16 points is going to do wonders on them. And Control Freaks walking away with 15 points. Beautiful. Beautiful,
Yeah,
beautiful.
I mean, these are all 3 squads that we have not seen in top 3, really. We have seen them in the top like 10, but we have not seen them top 3. Arc, I am amazed at that last fight because that was a mix, I think, of really well played and also things going exactly as they needed them to. Because they went in the Horizon ult to pull them in the ring, then you have Control
Yeah.
Freaks just trying to get out of the ring. Like that's what their focus is. Lust fighting them at the same time, but both of those squads tanked ring. They both were taking damage as they were trying to fight that, and Arc was just sitting there waiting, taking out. And I don't know who it was, but somebody I think on Lust or Control Freaks, I forget who, just ran out by themselves and gave a free kill over to Arc that gave them the presence that they needed to then try and take that final fight after all of the fighting was over.
That was Winks. I remember that exactly. And I love that Arc pushed up to the supply bins early, right? They called it.
Mhm.
They coupled that with that ult, and I thought that was well timed. Let's go ahead and look at the 11th through 19th place teams to see kind of how this panned out. Loch Nessie's had a lot of moments of strong areas in that Storm Point match, but unfortunately only 4 points to show for it. Mommy's 3. Flower Power once again. This is kind of interesting. I'd be curious. I need to go back in and look more into that because it's one thing to have 89 points last week and to just not be, you know what? Everyone has days where things just are not going their way. And you just have to stay with that mental fortitude and stay strong. VSK, LNW. VSK should have won that contention. They
Yeah.
had the upper hand immensely. And for them to not do that, little spicy indeed.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is they just overforced their hand, right? Like they took fights, they were fighting in the ring, and then the damage, even though it didn't kill, even it wasn't an explicit trade, the fact that there wasn't a heal done before popping up ended up with them losing the seer, making it a 1v1, which then allows for nothing to then pull out the win in that fight. But regardless, I mean, Stormpoint already looking insanely entertaining to watch at the very least. And I am excited that we get 2 more games of
Two
this.
more games coming up, guys. We're going to cut to a quick break. And when we come back, map number 5. Welcome back, everyone. Celestial Cup Split 2, Week 3. We have made it through 4 of 6 matchups, and we have had a different winner every game. It's kind of spicy. I'm Spider Tiff. This is Tessa. Tessa, can you walk us through that overall leaderboard? It had to have shaken up from that.
Yeah, I mean, you have to imagine Veneer, their lead is closing. Holy moly.
Oh,
Okay, I did not expect this. So Arc have been consistent throughout the night. And because of that, when they get that win, they have a nice little jump here. They are within 13 points of Vernier. And that is amazing for them. Like look at the difference in play style between Vernier and Arc. It is 43 kills to 19 kills, and they are within 13 points. Like that's a huge difference in style. And it's cool to see that both of those styles can work depending on how you play it out.
yeah, I actually love that you bring that up because Arc is consistently in that top 5 placement each game over and over. And it's really providing to be incredibly fruitful. It just goes to show you, hey, if you just play for the long haul and you play for those placement points, you can be consistently within the
Yep.
top 3 and nestle yourself a spot to kind of get some of those points and find yourself in the Celestial Cup finals after every game is done throughout split 2. But Veneer, the fact is that 31-point game just really holding them strong at the top
Yeah.
of the leaderboard. Lust, good moves on them, moving from 5th to 3rd with that last game. And Control Freaks breaking the top 5 here. They went from 7th to 4th. So super strong moves out of them. And Nice Girls JSA. JSA finally starting to kind of put some things together. They still have 2 more games to kind of break that top 5, top 3 that I feel that they can do. Would love to jump on over to the 11th through 20th teams and see kind of what's going on over there. And Team Nothing really holding solid in 11th place.
Yeah, I mean, they got that good start, but it was just kind of like really janky from there, right? They won the fight, but at what cost? They lost a
Yeah.
member. They were trying desperately to stay alive, and they ended up just being stuck in the ring for way too long. And because of that, it feels like they never really get like set and get going. But hopefully, we'll see if something changes. If Team Nothing can win from the gear that they had in that
Yeah.
situation, I feel like they can do really well if they don't have to just book it across the map for
I mean,
Ring.
that's true. If you think about it, 11th place team Nothing and 18th place VSK, they have been contending each other throughout the entirety of this tournament today. And I just kind of have to feel as if they would just elect to maybe leave the fight a little bit early, loot up, and maybe move to a lesser populated POI. What kind of would happen to their gameplay and the longevity? Because I feel like you're right. They're wasting so much time in that area, but we have 2 maps left. Who knows what's going to happen at this point? They're probably like, nah, we're so far down, we're just going to keep on contending and see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, it's really kind of just up to how that's going to end up working out, right? Like it's really ring placement becomes really important
Mhm.
in Storm Point, especially with how much ground you have to cover.
Right.
Going from something like Fish Farms up to Thunderwatch is like it is a distance. You are going on a complete journey from the bottom of the map to the top.
Mhm.
So I think really they have to just try and be aware of the ring and make rotations early as soon as possible. Those areas where they have people diving in together,
Ooh.
that's where you really kind of have to be careful because the longer you take, remember those rings start very early now, and you take too long on those fights, you're gonna pay the price.
I feel like we need a reminder, like ring is coming button. Like you need to be aware. Like if we as
There's
casters could
literally an
have like a little
announcement.
bell.
There's an
No,
announcement in the game and a war siren. Like I don't
we
know
need
how they
one.
can make it. We specifically like
Yes.
just get.
Yeah, yeah, we need one. We're gonna enact a ring button. I don't know, production. Can we make it happen? Can we get like not a that was easy button? We need a you need to rotate
I was
now
gonna make that
button.
joke.
You
I was,
need to. That's what I'm saying. But you did get a look while I was chatting there and talking about my button on the teams that have the most damage, the players that are the MVP in kills. That is something that I think you need to look strong to. You can see where some of those teams are finding the most success. And we've got all 4 different match winners kind of outlined just there. But I just got a little word in my ear that the lobby will be resetting. So I can go back to my that was easy, but now please rotate button.
yeah. Just please rotate. Please rotate.
Yeah,
So
no,
let's see.
actually, if we could pull back up the people that have the most damage and kills, that would be really, I would love to talk about that since I kind of blew that moment. Top 10 player kills. That's going to go to Shiro with 19 eliminations.
It's
Friendly
all
reminder.
veneer.
Yeah,
It's
it's
all
veneer.
veneer.
I mean, they took out 21 eliminations in one lobby. Miss Dopey last week, Flower Power won Celestial Cup that split 2 week 2 with 25 eliminations. But however, no one has broken Ava and Sab's record for 27 right now. But I think
Mhm.
Shiro has the potential to make it happen. Only 2 games to do it though.
Yeah, I mean, there has to be another pop off game like
Yeah.
game two. I think for that to happen. I also want to call out Piku just being
Mhm.
the 10 kills, fourth in damage. That's really really good considering that we have not seen Arc be a kill happy team. They have been very much playing position. They have been trying to just stay alive. We've seen them in a lot of like rough situations where they're down players. For Piku to be able to do that and make things happen while being down players, while trying to rat and stay alive, that's a lot of pressure put onto one player to carry that team to where they are in the standings right now.
Yeah, it was definitely paying off. She probably found a lot of damage with that longbow that we saw utilized
That'll
in
do
map
it.
number 4. I mean, that's the way to do it. We talked about what were some of the changes that we might see on Storm Point. I'm sure a lot of teams were still electing to pick up that charge rifle when they found it because, I mean, you can't pass it up on Storm Point. But the longbow, well done. And I'm just excited. Can Arc run it back? Will they find success? I mean, they've been incredibly consistent making it to the long game, but just playing your cards right within that, you just need a little bit of luck. Hey, is circle going to pull to me? If it does, can I play this? And even if you don't have that upper advantage, because Arc did not have the advantage there. That was all played incredibly well with the utilization of that ultimate from
Mhm.
Horizon and moving.
Exactly.
It's just a little bit of moving parts. It's going to be tough, but I mean, we did get our first look at an open Storm Point ending, though.
Absolutely. I mean, like it is end games, just like the beginning of the games. They have a level of randomness. They have a level of we need things to happen correctly for us to make this work.
Mhm.
So I think the fact that Art got that and then took advantage of that is huge. Now the question being, is the pop off moments of Vernier going to be enough to keep them in the lead, or is the consistency of Art going to creep back up because they have been closing that gap very consistently. And if they can get another good game, that gap will be closed going into our final game then. So keep your eyes on Arc. I want to see what they can do this game.
Ooh, I want to see what they can do as well. We know there's going to be a contest over at Down Beast between VSK and Team Nothing. I actually like that Nice Girls are taking that rotation all the way out to Lightning Rod because you were like, hey, if you're going to rotate from, fish farms to Lightning Rod or the wall to Shipfall, you're going to be in for the long haul. But when you elect to have a POI like that, you're just understanding that you probably are going on a journey. But LNW over
Once
here,
again,
once again, getting some good weapons though. Let's see if it goes different for them.
looks like it already is getting some damage flesh here. We do see them take down one. That is Lavillian going down. LNW with this high ground really have to be pretty happy with it. Now, I forget. I believe there were 3 squads in this vicinity, if I remember right, because we did see, I think, maybe it was just 2. I don't know if I'm remembering correctly. Regardless, LNW getting a kill at the start means they have an opportunity to, at the very least, clean up for a good early 3 points.
Ooh, LNW going in with the finisher on Renaissance. They are asserting dominance. If you remember correctly, on map number 4, Renaissance was the one who killed all 3 players of LNW. So just a little bit of asserting of the dominance. I'm here for it. And now trying to put the finishing touches on the Lavillian. There should only 1 member of the Loch Nessies left. And at this point, if I'm that last standing member, I'm going to be disengaging a little bit, looking for a little crevice to crawl in and be a little bit of ratty, and then go in and try and banners, because at that point there's really not much else we can do.
Well, we are just getting damaged though. LNW, it's hard to push this, right? So they have a seer that they are trying to fight, obviously, and the fact that their ways up there are going up this tier and having to get beamed like that.
Oh, this is kind of spicy. Maybe this is the last member of Loch Nessie just trying to throw some stuff down. We can see that the other contention is going as well. Snow Red gonna find it down on the light years off camera. And now LNW just swarming in on the last player. That's gonna be VFay. And now Team Nothing in the same position that we saw
Oh,
Loch Nessie's in. This
no.
is going to be unfortunate. Strawberry usually lasts alive in a contention, but running for their lives. But VSK going on the aggression.
I mean, why wouldn't you? They've got the shield advantage again. Wait, this is Lust. Hang
Yeah,
on.
this is a different team.
You don't go here. Why are you here? Lust gonna just, I
Can we
guess,
get a
clean
Mean
up
Girls
Team
reference?
Nothing. I am so confused. Okay, Lust, I guess, just gonna take the kill, because they were there. Meanwhile, okay, yeah. Well, I still was correct. I just didn't know it. It was Snow Red, Kathleen, and back there getting the shields off of that draw. But now they are up against Lust, who have been doing very well. They are one of our top 5 teams tonight, and they are on a rampage, looking to come in here. I'm scared if I am going up against this squad.
Help me, I'm scared. It's interesting because their drop spot, now I don't know if they changed it, but typically they land at the mill, which, if that's to be said, they landed at the mill, looted up. You know, you always come out of the mill locked, loaded, good shields, and they just full sent down Beast. So I'm curious if they're going to keep rotating throughout down Beast and pushing into VSK, because VSK is kind of hitting the road, and we know that Arc lands just a little bit north of them. But coming on over to Veneer, this is one of the first times that we're getting a look at them in that early game. Now, they didn't have the super strong map 4, but that map 2 victory is carrying through this in the top of the leaderboard, and they are fighting an uphill battle right now.
It's not looking good here. Just trying to fight from down on here. They're going to use this portal to try and get in there and get onto them. It's just the immediate fight, breaking the shield there and knocking one. Now just trying to go up these up these rocks rather. Vernier just stuck underneath. They are just gonna hop back. Kisaki just gonna heal up as the rest of the team goes in. Beams on the horizon. Who's gonna go down? I think Vernier have confirmed themselves a win in this fight.
Ooh, and they are playing it so incredible. TLM going to be eliminated. Meanwhile, Lust had actually extended out into VSK, and I love that we're cutting on over to them because they've already found it down onto Snow Red and Scarlet's MB, trying to make some connections there with the G7 Scout, forced to kind of drop down, re-shield up, play it patiently. If they've already got it down and like VSK hasn't been able to get that res off, they're already in the next circle. You can see it's going to pull towards this area of the map. No need to rush, but going in to close the distance with the car, finding some success, but a mortar flare is detected and going to be the devastation of Scarlet.
Trying to fight around this beam. Just pop him, give him a little tap on the back. That's Arc. Hold up. That's a massive loss there. Lust taking out Arc means Arc do not get any of those placement points they've been getting all throughout the night. And Vernier have to be happy if they're looking at that scoreboard, seeing Arc go down. They know that their lead is safe going into this final game.
My thing is, then where is VSK? Because before we came over here, they had already gotten a knock onto Snow Red, and they didn't get the full. That means that VSK probably got reset. But Flower Power, oh no, this is not what we want to cut over and see. Giggle Autumn on the Watson, last alive, going in for the res on Princess, trying to make it stick. At this point, you're so close, let it happen, but the Gibby's gonna peek just in the nick of time, and now Giggle trying to throw some damage down, but it's just not going to be enough. Mommy's unfortunately going to be the eliminators of Flower Power, but it seems that there's more to the end of Infinity.
That will be
KBM.
actually, yeah, KBM coming in there. Has been fairly quiet overall, but getting that kill will net them a couple of points and take us down to 12 squads already. We are round 2.
Getting spicy now, coming on over to the mill. EOS, Ms. Exodia and Amory right now throwing down some damage. 12 teams remaining, and the ring is going to be at your back shore. You've got 2 minutes, but at this point you need to prioritize that rotation because a lot of those teams have already moved up into that, and you can see just how open this area of the map is, and there's at least 4 teams right here. EOS,
Why are we here?
We see VSK right there. VSK trying to just live their best life just inside of the ring. You can see they're taking a lot of damage. And JSK holding out right here, looking at that, throwing down immense amounts of damage with the R301. Ava, though, going to get tagged up from the back, and Janie and just a sub. I love the names, bro. I never know who they are when they say that.
They're just a sub, you know?
Just a sub, man.
Just a sub. He just staying alive, and now they are going to just, oh my god, okay. Give me that PK. That's not the one.
Give me Janie's skill, bro. If I had a fraction of Janie's aim, maybe I would actually enjoy this game when I play it more instead of just watching it. Bro, this is insane. Janie putting on a work of art, but unfortunately will fall. They were able to get the res off on Ava, and just a sub now trying to get their teammate back inside, shielding up. Can we get the res off on Janie? No.
Oh no.
She's gonna get bullied, thirsted, and now just looking for the other people that are lurking within.
Yeah, now they are just holding out on the side here. You can see all of Renee and company just hanging out, looking to poke in. So this heal city going on down here as BSK also up above here. All of these teams are like just not near ring right now, and it is a single choke point to get in there. We are losing at least 2 teams, if not more, depending on the surrounding area. Because look at that choke point. Look how tight that is, and how many teams are going to have to go through it.
To be fair, this is the chaos that you asked for, Tessa. This is exactly the chaos that you asked for.
Oh, it is. Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, I'm letting other people know this is the chaos I asked for. JSA going to get taken out here. Vernier also just getting poked down from above. Nice Girls maybe gonna full send this.
I mean, send it. And you see right there,
oh my god, they get out.
But Yusaki did have a clutch Wraith portal right there, but so much damage coming in. Shiro within an inch of their life, Insta within an inch of their life. They are able to get a bat off, but Nice Girl still putting on the pressure. Movana going up in the gravity lift, looking for a different angle. VSK gonna fall off screen. And now Crestap is going to get inundated with damage. Shiro putting out a nice Q right there. And Movana and co taking the portal back to disengage. I think that was a wise choice, but it's giving Veneer time to reset.
Vernier just barely staying alive. That was 2 members under like 5 health. Like, that was absolutely insane how long they survived and how just barely they got out. So now they are going to get that reset. They're dropping meds to try and keep their teams healthy. Comes also on this outside of the ring here. Everybody just playing edge in this Storm Point map.
Yeah, this is just spicy. We talk about everyone playing edge, just looking for some success, and Kayla gonna find a full on to Mighty Macaroni. That, I believe, was a team that former on the Loch Nessies, but I'm not quite sure right now. And Comms just going on the hunt in the ring. It doesn't matter. A charge rifle looming in the distance, gonna force Clara and Co to kind of back off. Now, I've seen some really great wins out of Clara, and I think this is a great sub in on the Comms team. She's worked really hard, performed in Twitch Rivals. I think I've seen her play Gibby. Great content creator, but this is a good move for them. But they need to make sure that they're hitting those med kits at the precise time, because one little nick of that charge rifle is going to just kind of decimate this play.
Absolutely. You can see they're just going to go for that Valve vault, trying to get out. This is where Valk really does do well. Like these ring 2 to 3 where you need to get in the ring and you're being gate kept, or you just full send because you see a solo.
Hey, you know what? Full send. It's like a see the shiny thing. Remember when I was telling you on the break that I like to play Wraith and I just kind of push towards the shiny things? This is that moment. This is exactly that moment. I know how this feels, and they are just gonna go to the world's edge.
They gotta be careful
to find this moment, and there it goes, a full elimination on Banry and Vex, but it's not gonna be a full team wipe. So there are some players still looming in the distance, but the question is, did you time it right? Kayla was able to get that syringe off. I was a little uncomfortable, not gonna lie. Starting to sweat a little bit, but that's okay. Just gotta make sure that you get things moving. And look, they're just gonna go ahead and get the thirst right there onto Banry and Vex. Hopefully, teammates nearby. They're probably not gonna go for the banner. They're gonna probably just rat it out and play for placement at that point.
Yeah, I think it's just a you're on your own, buddy. This just we're not gonna be trying to help you. Vernier, we check back in. Currently looking like they have about 5 or 6 kills to their name. They're just going to be continuing to push in. Now, I like this. They're getting to that ring early. Like we've mentioned a couple of times, no easy rotation skills. So they want to make sure that they are holding edge as the ring comes to them and not get caught into a bad situation here in these choke points.
Yeah, those choke points can be really scary, and Lust right now in a good position on the outskirts of the ring. However, there is this exhibit up, and they're just looking to get a good line of sight. A black hole going out from the hands of Scarlet is going to hit on LNW, but they've already closed the distance. It doesn't matter, though. They're taking so much damage trying to disengage from this fight. Can Vendetta get that bat off? But PF going to take a lot of damage as well, so this is a kind of even fight. It just seems like they're just trading the damage. Now Renee and PF from Lust going to have to make some moves here, but do you see the flank coming in from Scarlet?
Yeah, unfortunately there. A lot of damage there as Lust gonna just completely thirst for that one. Now Lust really happy with this positioning too. That was a little weird. Do get that hop up onto that building. And just this ring absolutely should be coming to them. Valkyl just to get away. And Lust have basically championed their castle. This should be where they're trying to hold for what I would expect to be the end game.
The spicy part about this is the ring is already so small. We know it's pulling up in this vicinity, and you don't necessarily know where you're going to land and if it's free, and they're going to be able to see. Lust is going to say, hey, they just landed over there. But jumping on over to Veneer, they just eliminated comms. They won the fight. Now they're just kind of resetting. They've got all the loot. They're perfectly kitted out. We have Nice Girls nearby in the neighboring building, and they could make a push for this because Veneer is on that outskirts. Both of these players have to move, and LNW going to fall to Amory. They didn't get out of dodge necessarily, so wherever they Valk-ulted to was not free.
It was not dodge.
It was not dodge.
Yeah, unfortunate for them. Vernier gonna just try and push out here. Nice Girls maybe gonna sandwich here. Vernier might be in a really bad spot. They are gonna just get stuck between two teams. But I mean, if you kill them, it doesn't matter, I guess.
True, fair enough.
They're just
gotta
beaming. Oh my
Such
God.
good aim, but look at the positioning on Nice Girls here. Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, Veneer is going to go in onto that team, but it doesn't matter because Pretty Bond Girl and co are just going to lay back. I see a charge rifle in the hands of Pretty Bond Girl, and I'm a fan.
No. No, anything but the charge rifle. As just Shiro is in there. Look at that. They are just going super deep. Vernier just going to push them out, just going to keep on this low ground, use this trench-like area to try and maneuver into the ring because they have 30 seconds before the ring will close.
Here's the deal. We were talking about Shiro making a play for the most eliminations from someone inside the Celestial Cup, and maybe they hurt us, right? But only one. They're excelling in the assists right now, so maybe they would have the most assists of anyone at some point throughout a series, but I love the angle of where they're holding. They don't have the composition to be able to fortify this area. However, if Shiro plays Seer properly, which I'm sure she will, no team should be able to walk up onto Veneer with Shiro's knowledge. You see Scarlet's Envy and Lust right there taking a lot of damage, and that's kind of not really what they want.
Yeah, right now you can see Lust still fighting on top of this building, and then Scarlet, Abreeze just holding out, trying to not be noticed here. Nice Girls gonna start off this fight with the Horizon ult. Another good Horizon ult gonna pull them in. KBM taken down by Vernier. Now Nice Girls just gonna continue to get in this ring and try and gatekeep.
Ooh, a little Mastiff. That's gonna be nice for close quarters fighting within here. But unfortunately, Crescent gonna take so much damage. That's not what you want. You're pinched in between Control Freaks and Veneer. Look, if I'm gonna be sandwiched anywhere, it is not between these two teams that I want to happen. And look how aggressive Veneer is pushing in. They're able to find one. Movada takes a lot of damage. The Seer exhibit is up, so they have all the information. Yusaki and Shiro are just descending upon Nice Girls, and that is all they wrote. Now they're gonna have to go get some shield swaps and Control Freaks. I'm surprised they haven't pushed in just yet because that would have been a solid third-party opportunity. Oh, they're
Yeah.
sandwiched too.
Oh yeah, no, and I think the biggest thing there was they weren't positive of how much damage was done to Vernier on the other side. So they are going to get a little bit sandwiched here. There we are going to find the last of guess who. So we have our final three teams: Vernier, Lust, and then I
Control
blanked
freaks.
on the Control
Gotcha.
Freaks.
Oh,
I
control
always
freaks
forget.
going for the skyward dive. I kind of
No.
like this. If you're going to do this, you know how risky it is. We're flipping our coin right now. I don't have a coin. Metaphorically, oh no, they landed on to Lust. They took high ground, but Lust was already on the high ground. This is going to give Veneer a free W.
Oh, this is very unfortunate, especially if you are Art, because you are looking at this game saying, we died early, we need Vernier to not have a good game. And unfortunately, looks like Vernier are not only going to have a good game in terms of their kills, but they're also going to have a good game in terms of placement here, as they are just going to clean up everybody and become champion on top of having all of those kills. It is apparently the second game of each map is where Vernier thrive.
I mean, that was well done. We called it. We knew that Valcolt, you know, we flipped our metaphorical coin. They decided instead to land on top of Lust instead of maybe landing on the outskirts of Veneer. At that point, I would have wanted to force Veneer into Lust and then Control Freaks third party. But hey, here's your results for map number 5, Veneer, a 28-point victory. I mean, beautiful. We already knew they were in first place with, I believe, 60 or 61 points, and now they're just extending that lead. But Lust able to pick up 22 points as well.
Lust absolutely needing that, and I think the biggest thing is just how it affects second place right now, because Arc being over on that 11 to 19 spot there, that is going to be really, really tough for them. Everybody else got to be catching up here. Nice Girls going 6-5 4. Like the point totals drop off so much past that third place point. And if we could take a look over at our 11 through 19th here, I mean, just the biggest thing from that is just Arc not doing too great.
Yeah, and they went out way earlier than usual. If anything, they've been incredibly consistent. And I'd be curious to see where they place. Let's look at it. JSA 12th, ARC 16th. See,
16th.
yeah, that is not what you wanted. But the thing is, when we were watching a lot of those early game battles, we were seeing fights where we're like, oh, that's so and so. They're always in this vicinity. When we last checked in, they were here. And it was like, oh, no, wait, just kidding. That's ARC. Or just kidding. That's Lust. These teams were on the move.
I mean, yeah, they were trying to get in there and try and get something going, but unfortunately, I feel like that this kind of takes Arc out of the running,
Mhm.
because like the way that Arc plays now, they are so far behind. If they would want to try and take first place, they have to play really aggressive, really kill happy, and that is just not how Arc plays, right? That one
Yeah.
missed spot of consistency hurts you when you don't have those big pop off major point totals. So now the question being, how far off is Lust? Because I feel like Lust now have to be at least somewhat within striking range. And if Vernier have a bad game 6, that opens up a lot of things for a lot of these teams.
Yeah, and anything can happen. It's a battle royale. It's RNG. You never know. You could land and someone could just chow you. And the next thing you know, you're going out early. Lust is making a move. We know how incredibly aggressive they are. But hey, Veneer, our first victors to kind of run it back. And you're right. You said it best. The second map of every game, or the second game of every map that we're playing tonight, they're
Mhm.
walking away with some success. But hey, we're going to cut to a quick break. And when we come back, map number 6. Welcome back to Celestial Cup Split 2, Week 3. We have finished up 5 insanely action-packed games, and we are moving on to the last map of the day. It's all coming down to one more Storm Point. Storm Point? Storm Point? Look, I
Stoim.
told... Swain? Are we making up words? Look, Tessa, I was telling you, I'm hungry. And now that hunger is starting to like cloud my brain, I'm making up words. And now let's just go ahead and look at the overall leaderboard because I don't need to come up with any more words. And Veneer extending that lead,
Okay, never
59
mind.
eliminations.
Yeah, I was gonna say like, oh man, must have to be close, right? Well, no, I think it is far and away. Vernier, they can do what they want this game, right? Like unless they get a complete goose egg, and one team absolutely controls the rest of the lobby, like it is almost not possible for a team to take that spot from them. And Lust being 28 points behind, I mean, you're really just looking to control and keep your second place there. An Arc after that rough game last time, dropping out of that top three, looking like they need to try and come back here to try and get into that top three and see what they can do with that.
Hear me out. Veneer's had a 31-point game. Veneer goes out on drop. The chaos that you want, you thrive on. Lust has a banger game, comes out victorious. Look, I don't know how that's going to work, but you're right. Arc looking to break into the top 3 because right now these teams are fighting for those mission critical soul points to net themselves a spot in the Celestial Cup Split 2 finals. We know that's what they want to do, and I'm excited to see. Let's go ahead and check and see how the teams in the 11th through 19th place are looking. We do have Team Nothing kind of falling a few places. EOS now sitting in 11th place. VSK still picking up some well-needed points despite being in early game contention with Team Nothing every single map. But Comms picking up some points as well. And Flower Power still not really finding too much success. It's okay, though, because they had such a strong week last week. Sometimes just a little bit of lacklusterness, but I'm excited to see kind of what they do. Maybe they can bounce back and redeem themselves and have a fantastic game here and leave it on a good note, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I do actually want to give some credit here because, like, when you have a team that is as strong as Vernier is right now,
Yeah.
a lot of times you see a lot of teams with no points. Like,
Yes.
depending on how close things are, but like we are seeing everybody have some level of contribution here. There are no teams with 0 points, and I think that's amazing. That's great to see how competitive things really can be as all of these teams try and take that top spot.
Yeah, and I love the way that you put that because that does seem to be the way that things work. If there is a team that is just finding you at one point 21 eliminations in a single map, there are going to be some teams, unfortunately, that just are not finding success. And it could be because they're landing nearby and running into the same teams over and over and over and just being collateral damage at that point. But as the teams land into their drop spots, Launchpad is going to be that hot zone for the moment. They're going to have all the high tier loot, potentially going to be a contest there once again. And Barometer as well. LNW and Loch Nessie is going to meet their fate once again. Will we see some finishers or will we see a different course of action? Nastia is going to find that blue shield, Vendetta, RE45, and a PK. Not bad weapons to land on. I do enjoy the RE45 dropping down, finding these 3 supply bins. Honestly, here's the deal. Do it. Pick up the alternator. Oh, the Hemlock. Don't sleep on the alternator, you guys. Don't sleep on it. I love it.
You know who isn't sleeping? It is VSK and Team Nothing as they are fighting one more time. Beams going down. VSK still getting shields once again. And they are going to drop one. It is 1-for-1 right now, I believe. Seer just going to peek out. Not. Okay, Scan did hit, and they are just going to burn them down.
Right now, I like my enemies burned.
Yeah. You know, that is a way to like them. But VSK gonna win that fight, and they are going to be victorious going forward. Team Nothing will be done for the night.
I like that they did that contest a lot more quickly, right? Because they know that there's another team in the form of Team Lust that lands at the mill and likes to third party quickly. So I think that kind of sped up that action. However, LNW, this fight at Barometer moving a lot more slowly than usual.
And I think the biggest thing is everybody got up to that top side, right? When we've seen the fight actually like fully play out, it has been because somebody dropped with LMW and then had to go down underneath, which LMW could really handle. Loch Nessies, though, they have this high ground here. And they have at least some guns that are capable of fighting at a distance, even if they don't have the scopes to do so.
Yeah, I was listening to someone play the other day. They were playing ranked and they were like, "Hey, I really need you to start picking up like a G7 scout. I need you to get a long range weapon." And they're like, "Bet, so a wingman." And I was like, "You know what? I like it because the wingman can cover that mid range. Sure, it's not maybe the best option, but if you are comfortable with it and you've got a red dot, you're going to find success. It's still going to hit incredibly hard. The issue is those iron sights are incredibly brutal on some of the skins, and I think this skin isn't too bad of an iron sight, but
This is just the
you're
base.
you're just throwing bullets. Yeah, but it's not bad. It's not a
It's
bad
not
one.
bad.
They're
All
better.
of them are bad because I can't hit a wingman shot to save my life. I am a 301 R9 type of player, so
I see, I see.
either that and a sniper. That's my go-to is Lust now coming in to try and take out VSK. Just like we saw earlier with Team Nothing, they are going for the fight. You see that we are going to take out the Watson ult, and we are going to just continue to hang out on this edge. Ring is starting to close. They've got to be careful.
We know just how. Oh, 3 teams are in the vicinity. A Watson has fenced themselves inside, and Lust is just looking for an opening angle
Arc.
onto VSK. Arc in the vicinity as well. They're moving from their POI and rotating in. So typically, what we saw happen in map number 5 is all of the fights from the mill moved into the down beast, and from the down beast into the POI of head, and now Renee takes a lot of damage and is forced to go into the void and kind of descend back through a different building. But now the point is, do you have enough heals to live your best life? Because Arc is saying, hey, we're gonna take to the skies, y'all can fight it out, we're playing for the long game, we're not going out early again.
Yeah, and that tracks, you know, that's the way Arc plays. But VSK, they are going to do the same here. And it is just Lust left in the dust here. They've got a lot of ground to cover on this ring here as it is going to continue to close.
Ooh, but they're passing up on the Trident as well. They would have had to push further out into the down beast to grab the Trident, but they do have 2 medkits. I'm looking at Throws MB right now. 2 medkits to their name. They can share within if they need to, but I think they may be okay on foot. Just depends on how far they have to go.
It's going to be a bit. It's going to be a good
journey
while.
we talked about.
Yeah. It's not ideal, but I think they're going to be okay. UTFT hanging out on edge right now. They're going to start a nice beat. Okay, just take them down. Just kill them.
Sheesh. I mean, that's what you need to do. You've already made this fight a 3v2. Nuzilia right now with the EVA 8 going inside the door. Needs to put at least one more shot on his player. You know what? Just
No!
Whoa, God, that is not what you want to have happen. Now, UTFT gonna have to be the cleanup crews, and now they're getting... Oh, wait, no, this is what I like. I've seen teams do this. They throw the shield down for that player that they just res to go ahead and pick up, and then they secure a different. But it seems like Lupilia is just gonna say, you know what? No, it's fine. I'm just gonna go ahead and heal up regardless.
Now we have an extra
There's no
shield
pressure.
because they're probably going to try and hold on to this area and just want to have that extra shield swap ready to go if needed. Guess who? Maybe about to get guessed. I think they're going to go down here.
I mean, guess who was eliminated, and that's going to be at the hands of Giggle Autumn and Co. And now UTFT, charge rifle in hand of Julie. I feel like they were also putting some damage down onto them, so they're going to make a play to push in on Flower Power. And this is, I think, why a lot of these teams are going down so early on, as they're fighting, and so many third parties are happening, and now UTFT fully filled up and get it, pushing straight in. But however, Lisa's gonna fall, and Julie able to put down some damage, but it's not gonna disappear from the fact that they're gonna go ahead and try to hit the res. It's going to get canceled out, which is quite unfortunate. And the Seer exhibit now faltering, and look at this, going the high distance, but Miss Dopey is gonna get cut down.
Now, yeah, I think they're just going to keep pushing here. UTFT actually in a little bit of trouble. Princess going to trade one, gets in, gets the Watson fences down, and that's going to be UTFT out. Flower Power stay alive. Now they have Nice Girls and Rainier close by. These are not teams you would like to have to fight right after you win.
I think this is exactly why Flower Power is just not finding the success that we're used to seeing them, because Veneer and Nice Girls are now coming in as the fourth and fifth party, and there's just nothing that Flower Power can do. There's not enough time to reset. But here's the deal. Veneer and Nice Girls now in the same vicinity are potentially going to fight, but Veneer is kind of disengaging and going on the low ground, and Nice Girls are just going to have empty shots onto them.
Yeah, this is not good for Veneer. They only have those 2 kills, it seems like, so far. Maybe a third on somebody else. But Veneer, they already lose 1. Misaki already down, and I think they're gonna thirst this one. Don't think there is a world in which they can get Veneer, or they can get Misaki back up. And they will just run for the 2-person squad for now. Not looking on great guns either. I don't think the sidearm you want with your scout is a Mozam.
I mean, but they're still going. Shiro and Insta are split. They just kind of went in 2 different directions, and Nice Girls has the upper hand advantage. All purple shields ready and willing, that 3-stack looking to go. And you've got Arc in the distance at the very bottom of that POI, about 300 meters away, trying to close the distance. And you weren't able to get that banner. You're pretty much just like playing your life at this point. Like, hey, I'll meet up with you later.
Well, here's the thing. Yeah, we're seeing Shiro, I think, just realized there's a squad down there. Veneer can't group up, and now we're just going to see them go down. Like, Shiro down. Inceptus. I have a readable name. God. I can't pronounce that one.
Sometimes it's hard out there, I feel you, but Arc going to be the thorn in that side right there. They're just looking for the rest of Veneer. They don't know that one member has already fallen, and they don't know where the other member is. They're like, hey, we've got it down. Maybe we'll just... They did. They went ahead and thirsted Shiro, and now Janie gonna find a down onto Winx that's going to be Control Freaks, but jumping on over to Comms, looks like they're having a little bit of an entanglement over here. A Seer exhibit up in the distance, but they're kind of playing a little more cautiously, kind of getting pestered with some shots. And Wonder Nikki on the Pathfinder, Kayla on Mad Maggie, and Clara on Bloodhound. So
you know what?
I like it.
You know what? Have fun with it. You know?
That's the point, right?
I would hope so. But mostly. Yeah, I mean, like, hey, if you're comfy on these characters, like, that is an aggressive composition too. Like, Bloodhound and Maggie, I can see doing a lot of work, because we do see Mommy's over there on the side getting a lot of damage thrown down to them. Ring gonna start to close, and Fish Farms starting to see a little bit of action. See squads inside of that armory, and that is going to be very, very hot when that opens up.
You know, Loch Nessie is able to survive that 50-50 early on, and you're right, the IMC Armory is sandwiched in between Comms and JSA, and you've even got a 3rd team up north, and that's going to be EOS, I believe. And, you know, Mommy's going to fall in the distance. I'm just sitting here waiting for that armory to open up at this point.
I mean, I think your best bet is just trying to fly out through the top and just trying to head far east.
Yeah.
Now the question being too, like, do they know what is going on inside?
I mean, they might hear it over the shots of the
You know, I just
inside.
thought too. You don't have to. So the armory does not open when you finish it. You have to actively open it. You could just keep it closed, right? Like. Okay, I'm being told there's a timer on it. I've never tested this because I usually just want to get out. But I mean,
that's
hey.
true. I've never tested the limits.
Gotcha.
I mean,
so we're just it'll open eventually.
It's like a pie. You just gotta let it bake. You know, sometimes you just gotta bake a pie, and that's what they're doing. But hey, JSA gonna lose a member, and now Janie closing the distance to join back up onto Ava. Favorite going to be the one to get the knock, and they're calling out where that team is. Veneer in the meantime going to fall somewhere off screen. 11 squads remaining, and Janie finally joining up just a few meters away from Ava, taking so much damage. This is gonna be incredibly challenging. Now the question is, can we get the team to safety, get inside, get the reset on? But no, someone's already in here. PK shots not connecting. The Valve taking look at this guy able to put some damage down, but it's not going to be enough. Janie relegating to kind of heal up and play it safe. Try to get some more information on where that Valve went. TK shot's not necessarily going to be at it in favor. Nail in the coffin for Team JSA, keeping the dream alive for Control Freaks.
They only have one person, and they're only going to have one person the rest of this game. Lust also going to be going down here. This is just absolute chaos here. If there was ever going to be a chance of a team catching up, I don't think it's going to happen now, because Lust are going to go out. And that means our top two are basically either out or neutered to the point where they cannot get that KP.
Ooh, a little bit of a mobile respawn action here for EOS. They may have a strong finish here on the last map of the day, but you are right. I just don't know how it's going to pan out. Veneer had a very strong lead. I believe it was almost 30 points. And with Lust already out, there's not really anyone that's going to chow them.
Control Freaks was the next highest, and they just only have one member. So
you would need like a full-on assassination mission, and EOS is getting absolutely pinched right here. This is not the sight that you want to see, unless you're Kayla the one doing it to him.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. EOS gonna survive here. The one member revive. They do stay alive long enough, but I'm already not really feeling too great about it. No gun, no nothing. Just 2 shield cells and a dream.
Hey, at least there's a dream. At least there's a dream. There's a box.
Don't have the shield
there's a
cells
dream.
anymore.
It's true. Now I've got 2 syringes and a dream and a beautiful heirloom to show off, but just gonna nestle themselves into the building. Finds a Volt as a present, and Arc looking incredibly strong. Hey, taking that moment to disengage and get that early Valkold out of the fight there at Down Beast. Proven fruitful, showing that they are here to play edge and the long game, slightly split up. You've got Sammy out there towards the back, kind of scouting for some more information. EOS finally going to fall, and now Arc just trying to find the team, but you can hear the shots coming in. I believe that's a longbow, so good dodge there, Daji.
They're just going to be hanging out for now, and I think a lot of these teams, they're just going to be waiting. Pika and Daji actually taking a lot of damage here. They need Sammy to get back here because they are going to start getting beamed. That is the... That's a Bangalore ult, actually.
I do love Bangalore. Oh, Sammy with the G7 scout.
That's why you needed Sammy there.
We just needed a little bit of a scout legend action, and I am just ready to see, can you go ahead and get a knock? Because you know that ring is gonna hurt, and that little bit of a mountain that's kind of in this area, you can't decide to say, hey, I'm gonna rotate all the way around unless you do it now. That team needs to make that call, and you can see they're pinging it the other side. They're going to potentially go around, but you know there's teams on the other side of that chokehold.
Man, that's not even like a 2 to 4 times. That is just a 2 times. You are beaming people with that scout. Look at all of these teams in this area right now, and they all need to move. I don't think anybody here is in this ring except for the side of VSK.
Look, I was gonna say Comms had the upper advantage in their positioning, but leave no witness, LNW is just throwing down such a gnarly amount of damage that I don't know if Comms is gonna be able to survive that. But Movana going for that res in the middle of 5 teams, having that gold knockdown, proving to be so substantial here in this moment. Nice Girls able to get a beautiful reset. You get a good overlook at where these teams are. You've got Comms over there in the 3-piece building out towards Fish Arms. VSK kind of just north of them. Nice Girls out to their left. Everyone that's near that Seer exhibit on the far left-hand side of the ring is about to be just decimated at this point, because LNW is not going to let Mighty Macaroni and Co. get out of this.
Absolutely not. And they're just going to be just fighting LNW, just holding their ground right now. They're taking a lot of damage. It's 2 members down. It is just Vendetta trying to stay alive, going to just barely get out of there. Now it is Rat Gaming. If you can get that shield pad off. Oh my god.
Yo, I said Mighty Macaroni was gonna not live that. Mighty Macaroni had a Kraber. Mighty Macaroni got a nice shot onto a member of LNW. Now they're eliminated. Control Freak's gonna fall. KBM gonna fall. Comms, a two-man stack right now with Kayla and Clara, and they have a beautiful position here on the rock. Arc going to fall as well. So now we are relegated down to 4 squads remaining. We've got Nice Girls, and let's jump on over to their POV. They've got a big old tree and a team in front of them.
And you know what? They're using both of those to their advantage. They're going to throw down these nades. A nice thermite. It's burning all of them. Look at the damage.
Honestly, that's the best thing that you want to see when you throw that thermite out. Pretty Bomb Girl gonna get a down onto Renaissance. I believe that's on Lock Nessie. And now Triple Red looking to throw down some mass damage. PK in hand, going to find another knock coming from behind Cresta. But they do lose Mulvana in the process. They're going for an early reset. But you're right, the Maggie coming in and Comms going for the full-on third party right here. And I'm just not sure if they were able to get the res off. They don't. This is a 2v2.
2v1 now. Is Kayla gonna now get in that fight? They go around. They're just trying to zoom around. Kayla will trade. Now they may see the end of Nice Girls because I think a fourth party has showed up. It is VSK showing up to clean things up.
Literally one bullet separating this cove. Mulvana up and Adam, and now VSK, your map 6 winners. They have survived contention after contention, and while they did win the battle with Team Nothing at that beginning because they elected to leave early, it paid off tenfold. They are your victories here, and look at that cute little Watson celebrating with Nessie. I'm just over here. I'm gonna hold my Nessie for good luck. Great job, Snow. Great job.
I mean, that's amazing there. VSK just have had such a rough go of it tonight. They get a full-on win, getting them that 16 points, but 10 kills on Nice Girls does give them 19 points, which means they still got more points out of this match than our winners did. Nice Girls have to be happy with that. And obviously, with Vernier going down as early as they did, maybe some of that gap closes. Nobody closed that gap. Vernier, number one tonight here, and they absolutely wiped the floor in a lot of these games.
I mean, it was pretty wild, but Nice Girls, a beautiful game 6. VSK, through trials and tribulations, able to get 16 points here. Now, mind you guys, they are fighting. The top 15 will move on to the Celestial Cup split to week 4. All of these teams tonight will be earning themselves some soul points, looking to find themselves a Celestial Cup finals spot. And that's kind of what is happening week after week. But Comms, finally, a top 3 from them. That's absolutely beautiful. Flower Power even getting 5 eliminations as well. They were in the thick of it, bro. They were doing everything that they could do to stay alive and have a killer gameplay. So I want to give a shout out to them. That is not them playing like any missteps. They were just, it was like a horde of zombies. They were trying to survive an apocalypse in that building.
And I mean, hey, getting 5 kills, that is the best we had seen from them tonight. Going from winning the previous week to really struggling this week has to feel really bad. So to go into that final match and be able to then pull out enough to give you an extra boost in points there, that should feel pretty good. I don't know or believe it was enough to get them into that top 15 spot. We'll have to take a look once we do have those full leaderboards there. But I am glad to see that they did not at least quit out once things got really rough for them.
Yeah, I mean, the mental fortitude that they had, I feel like they know they're incredibly good players, and it
Mhm.
was just kind of unfortunate, right? Sometimes that just happens. When you're playing Apex, you know there's always going to be third parties. But what you don't expect when you're on Storm Point is the fourth, the fifth, the sixth parties. And over at Command Center, it was just that outskirts of that building. Like there's just so many areas throughout that. You're going to have the people coming from Command Center into that little building. You've got the people jumping off that building coming to you. You're just inundated with the amount of teams in that area, and you just didn't get enough time to reset. So regardless, shout out to Flower Power. Very well done for what you had.
Absolutely. And I think just there were a lot of honestly, what was it? Did we have different winners for each game tonight?
Except for Veneer. Veneer was our
Okay, Vernier did
only
win
like
twice,
dual
yes.
winner. Yeah.
So other than Vernier, we had different winners throughout the entire night. You can see top player kills, Shiro up on that top, Sepultus also there. And Misaki there. Like they shared kills. They got an entire lobby's worth of kills on their team alone.
Yeah, that's actually nutty. But let's just go ahead and talk about the fact that the player that had the most damage was outside the top three on the actual amount of kills. So they were just racking in all of the
Mhm.
assists. But top 10 team kills, Veneer was 61. You mentioned you're like, hey, a whole lobby right there. It's more than an entirety of a lobby. That's absolutely insane. 18,000 damage. Bro, I don't even know. That's insane.
That's I don't have ways to quantify how good that is. You're averaging 10 kills to a game in a game where there are 60 people, a sixth you are on average taking out a sixth of the lobby.
I mean, it's
That's
kind of
so
insane.
good.
I mean, they were really good, and I'm sure they're at the top of the overall leaderboard. Actually, speaking of the overall leaderboard, let's take a look at it. Let's see how everything panned out. We know Nice Girls won game number 6, so I'm excited to see what happened. But Veneer, 91 points coming in first
Oh.
today. In this week 3 split 2, Lust holding down second place with 66 points, and Control Freaks doing just enough to stay inside the top 3.
Yeah, I thought Nice Girls was gonna have enough there, but they just did not have enough to get through. If they had won that fight, if they had ended up in first place and not gotten basically just VSK showing up at the end there, that would have been them getting third. They would have had 59 points instead of 56, and they would have actually won that. That has to be really upsetting,
Ah.
and I think they have to be really kicking themselves for that.
I mean, regardless, it was still a beautiful performance from them. Arc rounding out your top 5, showing you just how consistency pays off. And if you look at the third through fifth place, they were all so incredibly close to each other. It could have went any which way depending on how that map 6 really panned out. Mommies, your map 1 winners still holding strong with them in the top 10. JSA just I feel like they couldn't string something together. I feel like JSA and Flower Power were both equally fighting the same battles. You were never fighting just
Yeah.
one team, it was always multiple.
Yeah, I mean, I think game one was the extreme example, but it was pretty true throughout the entire day where JSA just like they never could just sit down and be like, all right, we're looted, we're kitted, we're ready to go, and not just run into a team immediately or be constantly on the run as they were losing members due to just third parties or just not being prepared for a team they ran up on. Things like that just really hurting them throughout the night.
Indeed. Let's go ahead and take a look at our 11th through 19th squads. KBM coming in 11th with 25 points. Now, friendly reminder, LNW is going to hold that 15th spot. So, Team Nothing, WKL, Flower Power, TLM will not be moving on to next week. I'm excited to see kind of how everything pans out. But regardless, look how close this was, like a three-way tie from 13th to 15th with 23 points.
Yeah, I feel like the this area of the group was so very close, right? EOS, VSK, LNW. I feel like VSK really did sneak in there at the end with that win at the end that gave them a lot of points to jump up. But KBM, EOS, Lognessies, LNW, like all of these teams seem to be really consistently in those 11 through 15 spots. They were just
Mhm.
right on the edge of trying to get something turning into a better game. They just never got the opportunity to turn it into that win they needed.
Yeah, and to be fair, a lot of these teams were the ones that were having the contentions every single map throughout the 6 games. And I feel like if you're already starting out like that, you're pretty much rolling the dice on how your game's going to go because the contentions were split on who won them each time. So it's not like either one of these teams had maybe LNW won their contention every single time. You'd probably see them a little bit higher up on the leaderboard. Same with Loch Nessies, VSK, and Team Nothing. I just feel like their games, it's never chalked. It's never chalked, but it started off incredibly rough and made it challenging. The fact is, they were still able to get a large amount of points despite having that disadvantage of the contention. But overall points right now, Veneer with 91, Lust 66, a very insane day for the split 2 week 3. I couldn't have imagined a better day than to spend this night here with you, Tessa.
Wait, thank you. I feel the same. Vernier, obviously, like they looked incredible today. But now the question becomes like, can they keep that up going into other weeks? Because
True.
like we look at the first split, it was literally just JSA winning, right?
Yeah.
We had EOS, we had Flower Power, now um, we have had Vernier win. So the question becomes like, can they keep that consistency up, right? Obviously, the way they play, very aggressive, not going to always work out. This time they got 2 games where it just absolutely worked out. Can they do that consistently as weeks go on? I don't know what the answer to that question is going to be.
I mean, at this point, I guess we just have to wait and see because there is more Celestial Cup. If you are sitting in chat, you're like, hey, how can I get involved? Do exclamation point Discord, join the Discord, join the Celeste Cup tournament Discord, find out, ask your friends, put together a team, get into the competitions because there are so many tournaments that the team is working on putting on. But I mean, that's all they wrote for us for Split 2, Week 3. Veneer are your Week 3 champs here today. They did it. They done and dusted. It was beautiful. Everyone played so incredibly well. I'd like to give a shout out to production for putting on such a high quality production to bring you the most amazing broadcast for the talent that we've withstood today. Tessa, do you have any final words for the evening?
I mean, keep your eyes out because obviously some of these players were just obscenely good, and just keep your eyes out as other tournaments occur, as other weeks occur. Like these players need to get noticed. They're really freaking good.
Yeah, no, they really are. A lot of these ladies are actually working and playing in the ALGS Pro Leagues. Some of them are going through the qualifiers. I know Samurai Sky is playing on Ascend in the NA ALGS preseason quals. Those are going to finalize up this week. So keep your eyes out. This is just some moments where we can let these ladies shine and get their reps in so that they can go on and do amazing things. And Celestial Cup looking to make sure that they grow and bring you the best broadcast so we can showcase the talent that the women's scene has in Apex Legends. And I couldn't be more excited to be a part of it alongside you, Tessa. Shout out to everyone behind the scenes. Shout out to the players. Guys, that's all for this week, but this is what you got to do. Hit that follow button. Maybe throw some subscribes. Maybe join the Discord because we're going to be coming back to you same time next week.